And everyone from Danloff Field at Rip Griffin Park here in Lubbock. Baseball coming up this evening as Texas Tech hosts Stanford. I'm John Harris alongside former Red Raider Dr. Mike Gustafson. Gus, both these teams are reeling just a little bit. Both lost conference series games over the weekend. The Red Raiders at UCF, the Cardinal playing at Utah. Who finds a way to get back on track tonight?
John, it may be the team that limits base runners and controls base runners. The ballpark's going to be offensive. We've got a little line of storms blowing through here, and suddenly the wind's blowing out. So solo home runs aren't going to be what gets you beat tonight.
But a lot of them might, that's for sure. Now, who are you watching in your spotlight tonight?
Well, it's Landon Stripling for the Red Raiders. He's playing first base. He homered in the opener on Thursday in Orlando, and his sacrifice fly in the ninth inning on Saturday provided the winning margin for the Red Raiders. And for the Cardinal, it's their center fielder, Court McDonald. He leads their ball club in RBIs, and that's the leadoff hitter we're talking about, the two-hole hitter, and batting average. He has been fantastic for them as a freshman.
And here's how that Stanford batting lineup will look tonight against the Red Raiders. Cobb will lead off. McDonald there that Gus talked about in that number 2 spot. After that, Malcolm Moore, and Natai, Lavin, Sapien, Becerra, Haskins, and Brady Reynolds. It is Texas Tech and Stanford coming up from a cool, wet, windy ballpark here in Lubbock in just a moment. Back here at Danloff Field at Rip Griffin Park in Lubbock, Texas Tech and Stanford about to start a 2-game series. For the Red Raiders, it's the first of a 5-game homestand. On the mound tonight, Gus, for Tim Tadlock, is Jack Washburn.
It is the senior right-hander making his 7th appearance, 7th start. See the season numbers there. His last start, 4 innings of 1-run baseball here in this ballpark 9 days ago against BYU.
46 trips to the mound for Jack Washburn prior to tonight in his career that has spanned Oregon State, Ole Miss, and the Red Raiders. He has never thrown against Stanford. He will do that in just a moment. Drew Woodcocks for the Red Raiders in left field. Damian Bravo in center. Owen Washburn, Jack Washburn's brother, is in right field. For the Red Raiders tonight, the infield, Cade McGee at third, Tracer Lopez, T.J. Pompey, and Landon Stripling. Around the infield, Kevin Bazell is behind home plate. Red Raiders chasing their 20th win of the year. And Gus, this Stanford team has already made 1 trip to the Lone Star State this season, taking 3 from Rice. But under Coach David Esker, they have been good against teams out of Texas.
Yeah, and it's not just against teams from Texas, although that's an impressive number because they haven't shied away from playing some of the best teams around here, but really good marker of just how good they've been, period. And we know that they've been to Omaha the last 3 years. One of those, or that little 3-year streak, started with the super regional win here in this ballpark. Interesting to note that Tech has played Stanford in 4 of the last 5 seasons.
Yeah, Stanford College World Series champs in 1987 and 88. That 87 team featured their coach now, David Esker. A one-time walk-on to that program, earned a scholarship, and all these years later is their head coach. Owen Cobb, Cardinals second baseman, to lead off, a .242 hitter, 3 home runs, 12 driven in. Cobb had 6 hits for the Cardinal in their series at Utah over the weekend. Cobb showing bunt. There is a called strike. A.J. Wendell behind home plate tonight. Mike Morris is at first. Kyle Parker, the second base umpire, and Damon Thomas over at third. Cobb, a grad student out of Seattle, Washington, hit .324 for the Cardinal a year ago. Had 6 home runs, drove in 32. Washburn battles back to 2-2 pitches. Lined foul.
And Cobb jumping all over a breaking ball that's elevated and hooking it foul.
Washburn 10-5 in his career. 2-2 pitch again is lifted into center field. Damian Bravo moving over. He's got plenty of room. And Cobb is retired.
The sun's trying to peek through. Been gray and overcast all day, and really a pretty calm day until the middle part of the afternoon. A line of storms blew through, and we got a little bit of rain out of it. Not enough to help, but it got a lot of the wind and all the other mess around it. And the reason I bring that up is we've got a sun field here now, John, out in the left field.
Yeah, who would have thought that just a few minutes ago? Court McDonald here, first pitch. Swinging, drives that one to the wall. And Owen Washburn against the wall, leaping up to make the catch. Robs McDonald of the hit and certainly helps his brother on the mound.
Yeah, McDonald goes up there looking for a first pitch fastball that he could hit. Washburn takes away extra bases. That ball well struck. He was hit off the very top of the wall out there. His buddies in the Texas Tech bullpen applauding his work.
I'm sure they were helping him, too, with how much room he had before he got to the wall. But he makes the catch, and there are two away here in the top of the first. Now Malcolm Moore. He is the Cardinals' catcher. The guy that earned Freshman All-American honors a year ago was the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year. Lines that ball into left field for a hit. Red Raiders had to shift on for the left-handed batting Malcolm Moore, and he went the other direction. Gus, we've seen that a time or two with Red Raider hitters.
Yeah, and Moore staying on an off-speed pitch away, just drilling it through the left side. Malcolm Moore with 7 home runs. Got dangerous power. Red Raider coaching staff might let him poke balls the other way. He's just fine out there.
Came in batting just over 200. David Esker says maybe he's put a bit too much pressure on himself, but comes up with the first hit of the night for Stanford, and now Jimmy Natai, their first baseman. 2 out and a runner on. That ball grounded right at Cade McGee. Couple of hops, backhanded it. And a nice throw across to Landon Stripling, who is there at first base tonight. The inning is over. Cardinal leave a runner on. Augustus Stanford team has a lot of freshmen on that roster, and David Esker will send one of them to the mound tonight to get this one started.
It is the right-hander, Aiden Keenan, making just his 5th appearance of the year, his 2nd start. He's just thrown 5 2/3 innings so far this season. Allowed 3 hits with the number that jumps off the page there. Really both the walks and the strikeout totals at 7, so well over 1 per inning. That's a big number.
He'll have his work cut out against a Red Raider team that has fallen from that top spot in terms of batting average in the Big 12 to the number 2 position, but they can still swing the bat pretty well at a .319 average here, 28 games into the season. Here's the Red Raider batting order tonight. Landon Stripling, playing first base tonight. He also DHs some. He'll lead off. After that, Bravo, Bazell, Cash, Woodcocks, Washburn, Cade McGee, who's been hit 17 times this season in the 7-hole. Tracer Lopez and TJ Pompey round out the Red Raider batting order.
Well, Keenan last pitched on March 10th at Washington through a scoreless inning in 2/3.
Here's how the Cardinals line up defensively tonight. Lavin, McDonald, and Reynolds from left to right in the outfield. Facero at third. Haskins, Cobb, and Natai around the infield. Malcolm Moore behind home plate. And, of course, Keenan on the mound. Landon Stripling, the Red Raider freshman, out of Lawrenceville, Georgia, to lead off. Batting .311, 3 home runs, 15 driven in. That first pitch from Keenan off the plate at 90 miles an hour. Gus, he will throw harder than that at times.
Yes, indeed. Coach Esther talked today about him being a three-pitch guy, pitching in the low 90s.
Stripling got underneath that one, lifts it a mile high into right center field. McDonald comes over to make the play, and there's one out for the Red Raiders. Here's the Red Raiders sophomore Damian Bravo out of Holtham City. Still leading the Big 12 over the course of the season with a .426 batting average. And just as Bravo steps in, the sun comes out.
And now the left fielder shades his eyes.
Shortstop will have to do the same. McDonald out in center field has a lot of sun on him. And a near shift on for the Red Raiders, Damian Bravo, as the second baseman Cobb moves over behind second base. And in left field, Luke Lavin playing very deep. Starting this week, Bravo's 16 doubles, still leading the Big 12 and tops in all of college baseball. Bravo takes that 2-1 pitch, now 3-1. Had 5 hits in the Red Raiders series at UCF. But Gus, all 5 came in the opener.
Yeah, 5 for 5 night, almost a record-setting performance.
Lifts that one into right center field. Long run for McDonald. It'll drop. He doesn't get there in time, and Reynolds unable to make a play on that ball. Sounded like it came right off the end of the bat, Gus, but drops in for a single for Bravo.
Yeah, not a lot of loud contact there, but you just talked about how deep these guys are playing, especially out in left field. But yeah, McDonald sizing that fly ball and backing off and playing it on a hop.
Now Kevin Bazell, Red Raider catcher, with a runner at first and 1 out. Keenan delivers high at 91. That ball bounced in. Malcolm Moore, nice stop there. Bazell 4 hits in that series against the Knights of Central Florida. 3 for 4 with a home run in Game 1, which UCF rallied in the bottom of the 9th to win that ball game over the Red Raiders. Keenan off the plate, now 3-0 to Bazell. Bravo hit a 3-1 pitch into right center for a single. Strike from Keenan. Worked a couple of times early in the season in relief against Cal Fullerton. He started against Cal and took the loss in that game. Faced 10 batters. Bravo goes, but it's ball 4 to Bazell. First walk of the game allowed by Keenan. Now the Red Raiders have runners at first and second with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. But Gus, this is where the Red Raiders have had all kinds of problems with a runner in scoring position and moving him around.
Yeah, that's a been an alarming number, at least on the road in Big 12 play in the Baylor and UCF series. That combined for a 2 for 37 number with runners in scoring position. That is tough sledding on the road.
But here at home, the Red Raiders as a team hitting .367. They like this ballpark. 53 doubles and 35 home runs have come here at home. Gavin Cash tonight in the DH role takes that pitch way inside from Keenan. Inside again, and it hit Gavin Cash. That's only the third time in his career to be hit by a pitch, and the Red Raiders have the bases loaded here in the bottom of the first with one out.
Well, Cash had danced out of the way of a fastball in under his hands the pitch prior to that. This one, huge location miss, the fastball. Again, it was pulled into the glove side for him. And this one catches Cash, and now the base is loaded with one out.
Drew Woodcox will bat. Woodcox does have 6 home runs this season. The Red Raiders have 44. Bravo is at third, Bazell at second, Cash at first. A shift on for Woodcox. A lot of room on the right side. As Cobb, Haskins, and Becerra are all between second and third.
They play him way around the right field in the outfield.
Woodcox takes ball 2. That at 92 from Keenan.
McDonald just keeps walking over farther and farther into right center field. Lavin playing very deep and almost straight away in left field. There is an acre of territory out in left center.
Woodcox, though, can't get anything to swing at yet. 3-0 now from Keenan. 54 trips to the plate. Woodcox has walked only 5 times. There you get a good look at all of that room in left center. Starting tonight, Keenan had thrown just 108 pitches in his previous 4 appearances. 3-1 on the way. Foul back by Woodcox, now 3-2. Drew, the senior out of Houston's Lamar High School, had 3 hits in the Red Raiders' 3 games at UCF. The 2 of those were for extra bases, a double and a home run. The breaking ball stays up from Keenan. That's ball 4 to Woodcox. Red Raiders are going to take a 1-0 lead.
Keenan went to the breaking ball there, and that pitch was way, way up and out of the zone. Nowhere close. This is an easy take for Woodcox.
Keenan, after getting Stripling to fly out to start this ball game, has given up a single to Bravo, walked Bazell, hit Cash, and now walked Woodcox to bring up Owen Washburn with the bases loaded and 1 out.
There's a right-hander just beginning to play catch in the Stanford bullpen.
Washburn made that catch up against the wall to Rob McDonald in the top half of the first inning here. He can certainly help out the Red Raiders offensively and help his brother, who is the Red Raiders starting pitcher tonight, if he can deliver a hit here. Keenan just having trouble finding the strike zone. His opponents are batting just 158 off of him. A freshman out of Morgan Hill, California. Now strike 2 to Washburn, 2-2.
fastball. Washburn thought it was a little off. You can see him shaking his head. Now he's got to work out of a 2-2 count here.
Owen pokes at that one, sends it foul. He's grounded into one double play this season. Last four Red Raider batters to come to the plate have all reached base. Ground ball right to second, may be a double play. In fact, it's turned. Cobb was there to Haskins, back over to Natai at first base. And the Red Raiders' threat is over as Stanford turns their 17th double play of the year. But it's 1-0 Red Raiders after one. There's David Esker in that Stanford dugout. Gus and I had a chance to visit with him earlier today. Gus, the transfer portal has become a way of life in all college athletics. Stanford hit particularly hard after last season by the big league draft for the most part, and one key player who left via the transfer portal out of that program.
Yeah, Braden Montgomery, he was a two-way guy for them, but it's really the hitter part that they're missing. Braden Montgomery headed off to Texas A&M last summer. The most recent mock draft I've seen, John, has Braden Montgomery going number 8 overall. So that's the kind of talent that we're talking about that left the farm.
That's why so many younger guys have been thrust into action this year. Luke Lavin is one of those, a freshman out of Laguna Beach, California, leading off here in the second. But 8 hitters departed the Stanford program from a year ago. They lost 90 home runs from those guys, Gus. They had they had 117 a year ago, 527 hits and 377 runs driven in. That changes things just a bit.
Big number. 2 big numbers.
Ground ball there to Pompey. Lavin retired. Stanford in the first and second, unable to get their leadoff batter on base. They also lost 36 wins off their pitching staff. So
there's a remarkable amount of turnover from a program that has been wildly successful over the last decade or so. Of course, they've really been wildly successful for a long time here in Palo Alto, but especially in the last decade or so.
3 straight trips to college baseball's World Series. With 1 out, DH Jake Sapien, 293 on the year, has not homered, driven in just 6 runs. Swinging and missing there, strikes out against Washburn. Bazell dropped the ball, had to throw it down to first, but completing that out, 2 away.
Washburn doing a good job with the breaking ball, gets the chase. Good work there by Bazell to block it up. Cleared himself a throwing lane to the inside and deliver a strike. Young Landon Stripling down there at first base.
First strikeout for Jack Washburn. His 26th of the year against 14 base on balls. This is Timo Becerra, the third baseman for the Cardinal. Becerra, a junior out of Clovis, California, had 7 hits against Utah over the weekend. Had a couple of hits in Game 1, 2 more in Game 2, and 3 in the finale of that series. Like Texas Tech, Stanford won the final game of that Pac-12 series. But they did it by scoring 7 runs in the 11th inning, Gus. A bit unconventional.
Yeah, that's a good way to win an extra inning game.
7 runs and 7 hits in that last at-bat.
Eliminate the drama. And that's a future Big 12 opponent you're talking about there.
Utah will be in the Big 12 next year. That ball bounced over somewhere in between third base and the Stanford dugout. 2-2 is the count. 2 out here in the top of the second.
It just takes some getting used to. And remember all that realignment talk last summer, but just think about these teams and referring to them as Big 12 teams. Of course, BYU and Utah, longtime rivals, and now they're about to share a conference, as if that rivalry needed any gasoline. There's a look at that fastball. Washburn trying to get the chase. Sarah holds up.
3-2 pitch is off the plate, ball 4.
Stanford headed off to the ACC. And that is, if you're really new to college sports, that A stands for Atlantic. And Stanford is in the Bay Area, and Coach Esker talked about the future of their conference membership and how it's going to involve 5, in most years, 5 coast-to-coast flights.
Trevor Haskins swinging at the first pitch. Diving on the right center field is Damian Bravo to rob him of extra bases. That ball looked as though it had a shot to get down and maybe get to the wall, but Damian Bravo runs it down, a diving catch. It's the second outstanding play in the outfield by the Red Raiders here in the first 2 innings. Still 1-0 Red Raiders. Bottom of the second coming up. Red Raiders on top of Stanford 1-0. Gus, you mentioned this early, that these two teams have actually played in 4 of the past 5 years. And Stanford looked mighty good back in 2021.
Yes, they did. They came in here red hot. Put it on Tech the first night, and then the second night they had a guy throw, as I recall, a 3-hit shutout. So they dominated that little 2-game set. On their way to Omaha for the first of 3 consecutive trips. Both of these teams are going to have a little bit tougher path, not only to Omaha, but just the postseason this year. Do some winning down the stretch to change the narrative.
Yeah, Stanford comes in 11-13 on the year overall. The Red Raiders are 19-9. Stanford picks second in the Pac-12. Cade McGee, if that ball stays fair, it might be a home run, but it drifts foul.
McGee jumping on a 0-2 heater there and hooking it foul. Unable to keep the hands inside the barrel and just hooked around that foul pole. Or hooked in front of the foul pole, I should say.
Wrong side of the foul pole if you're a Red Raider. Nothing in 2 again from Keenan. Foul the other direction. Cade struggled some against UCF in those 3 games down in Orlando. Just 1 hit. It was a double. That came on opening night. Well, that pitch way inside to a guy that's been hit 17 times this year. 11 of those have come in this ballpark. Junior out of Tucson. Came to the Red Raiders from Gonzaga. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Now 3-2.
Keenan gave up that foul ball on the fastball, the 0-2 fastball. The next pitch fouled off, and then 3 breaking ball misses here, and now the count is full.
Ground ball towards Haskins at short. Throw is low, and it got away from Natai. Off the mark on that throw, and he had plenty of time, but the error will allow Cade McGee to first base.
Yeah, Haskins in good shape here. Gloves it going to his left, sets himself and kind of spikes that throw to Natai's backhand. Natai gets a little leather on it, but unable to corral it. Probably going to go with an E6, I would think. And Red Raiders have the leadoff man on.
24th error committed by Stanford this season puts a runner on with nobody out here in the first, or second inning rather, and now Tracer Lopez making his first trip to the plate. Swing and a miss from the Red Raider shortstop, strike one. Lopez has 9 hits in Big 12 play this season, including a home run that he hit against Texas. That ball bounced away from Moore, but stayed in front of him for the most part, and Cade McGee not attempting to move. The Red Raiders are 32 of 33 on stolen bases this year. That's 97%. The second baseman, Cobb, is, I guess he's almost playing behind first baseman Natai. He is way over.
He is out of
first base.
Yeah, Cobb is out of the picture on any sort of a double play ball. Were there to be something hit to the shortstop's right, you would have to play the ball to first base. Well, you think about this situation here. You're talking about a pitcher that came in with 5+ innings and 7 walks. In the first inning, walks 2, hits a guy. The very first hitter of this inning reaches via an error. There's never a good time for an error, but you hate to do that with a guy that's struggling to find the strike zone. Young right-hander. Looking for some help here, trying to make a pitch.
He's gone to 3 balls and 2 strikes now with Lopez, but he's also gone to 3 balls on Bravo, Bazell, Woodcox, McGee at first. He's running pitches inside ball 4. Third walk of the game by Keenan, and his night is about to be done.
Yeah, they're calling for the right-hander. It is going to be at number 30, Ryan Speciak. He's the right-hander that's been loosening.
That is the third walk allowed by Keenan. He also hit Gavin Cash in the first inning. And for the young guy, the freshman out of Morgan Hill, California, he works into this second inning. But a pitching change for the Cardinal. We'll tell you about that in just a moment. Gus, the Red Raiders have had a lot of base runners here early in the game. 2 more here in the second, and the Cardinal pitching change.
It's Ryan Speciak. He was loosening a bit in the first. Back to work here in the second. Now he enters the ball game with runners on first and second. Nobody out, and there's the season stats. Similar to Keenan. More than, right at a strikeout per inning, right at a walk per inning, but he's also hit 6 and thrown a couple of wild pitches, so 15 free passes in 9+ innings for Ryan Speciak.
And he'll face the Red Raiders' TJ Pompey, batting in the 9th spot today for Tim Tadlock. 363 with the average. 3 home runs and 28 driven in. Pompey, also a freshman out of Coppell. 33 hits on the year, 24 of them had come here in this ballpark. With a 1-0 Red Raider lead, runner in scoring position. Pompey watching ball 2.
Straight away, medium depth in the outfield. Lavin maybe a step or 2 deep in left field. Boy, he is in the sun field, shading his eyes.
Pompey on the ground. This could be 2. There's 1. Pompey pretty quick, but not fast enough to beat that out. Speciak gets the ground ball. Second double play of this ball game turned by Stanford.
Boy, both of them have come at monster times. 2 bases loaded, 1 out. In the first, they get the double play to get out of it. Here with runners on first and second, nobody out. Big 6-4-3 here right off the bat from Ryan Speciak. Just what the doctor ordered. Now it's going to take a 2-out base hit to score Cade McGee from third base.
Back to the top of the order and Landon Stripling, who flew out to center field to start the Red Raiders' bottom half of the first inning. Cade McGee is the runner at third. He reached on an error. Stanford dodging another bullet here in this inning if Stripling can't deliver a base hit.
They're playing him to pull in the infield and straight away in the outfield.
Two and nothing the count to the Red Raider first baseman, and that's outside ball three.
That's the Stanford shortstop, his head bobbing around at the very bottom left corner of your screen. That's the shortstop playing Stripling to pull.
Or to hit one right back up the middle. I mean, he is basically behind the pitcher. Ryan Speciak has relieved Aiden Keenan here in the second inning. 3-1 pitch. Ground ball. That's Cobb. The inning is over. Red Raiders grounding into their second double play of the ball game. We've played two here in. Coming into this ball game tonight, Stanford has lost 7 of their last 10. But, Gus, as their coach David Esker pointed out, that game at Utah that was won in Game 3, the final game of that series, first time this season these guys have scored runs in double digits.
Yeah, that's a pretty good indicator of what a struggle it's been offensively for this ball club. Boy, Coach Esker, fantastic bloodlines. To talk about him as a player and the coach there at Stanford. He was coaching across the Bay Area at Berkeley before getting the Stanford job. And when he was at Berkeley, they did a home and home. Cal did with Texas Tech, so he and Coach Tadlock very familiar with each other. A lot of kind words coming from Coach Esker regarding this Tech program and Tim Tadlock.
Absolutely. Brady Reynolds leading off here in the top of the third, behind Jack Washburn at 0-2. Said he would like to continue playing the Red Raiders, but doesn't know if he'll be able to work that out with that ACC schedule.
Yeah, he talked about the closest opponent being in Louisville. Once you get outside of the Cal, it's amazing.
It's a bit of a trip.
Yeah. Yeah, and he talked about that having to be a little more selective with their non-conference schedule just because of that rigorous conference travel, and most of that involving coast to coast. Most teams might do that once a year. They're going to get to do it 4 or 5 times a year. That's amazing.
Yeah. Count is full to Reynolds at 3-2 from Washburn. That's inside me and hitting.
I didn't see the dead ball go up, so
ball 4.
Yeah, I think that's just going to go as a ball 4. If we would have seen the dead ball call from the home plate umpire, did not get that, so just a leadoff walk here.
First time in the ball game, the Cardinal has got their leadoff batter on base. Washburn has walked 2 of the last 3 batters he has faced. Now the top of the order in Owen Cobb, who flied out to Bravo in center field to start the ball game. Bravo in center, Woodcock's over in left are fighting the sun at the moment. Most of the infield is covered up. There is a strip of sun that Washburn, when he comes off the mound and his delivery gets into. But it is the time of day when a ground ball can be lost in the sun. Swing and a miss by Cobb, fooled on that pitch.
The big breaking ball chase there by Cobb. That pitch well off the outside corner. He was in protect mode. Brady Reynolds, the base runner, first, 3 for 4 this year in stolen bases.
McDonald here saw one pitch in his first at-bat, ripped it to right field. Owen Washburn had to go back up against the wall in front of the Red Raider bullpen to go leap up and pull that ball down. Stanford has 20 stolen bases, but they are 20 of 30. They've been caught 10 times.
We got a pitch clock warning here for Washburn. Count evens at 1-1.
A lot of movement over at first base. There's a called strike 2 to McDonald. Doesn't strike out much. 11 times this season, but he's walked 11 times. Swing and a miss there. And back-to-back strikeouts for Jack Washburn.
Yeah, another breaking ball chase. This breaker down, McDonald really expands. That pitch bounced out in front of home plate. Bazell did a nice job of corralling it. Trying to keep that base runner on first base here.
Seventh appearance for Washburn this season, his 7th start. Now Malcolm Moore, who singled into left field in his first at-bat. Red Raiders do put the shift on for him. With the shortstop, Tracer Lopez, playing over on the first base side of second. Runner started to go, but headed back as Reynolds. He walked to lead off this inning, and now 2-0 to Moore.
You mentioned this in the first inning. Malcolm Moore, very talented. He's a draft-eligible sophomore. Most mock drafts had him going in the middle of the first round coming in this year.
Lifts that one a mile high into left field. Woodcox is at the wall, and he runs out of room. That is a home run from Malcolm Moore. Got it up in the air. And Woodcox drifting back, but just needed about 5 more feet to make the play. Moore's 8th home run of the year gives Stanford a 2-1 lead here in the top of the third.
Big power for Malcolm Moore. Getting this fly ball up. And out of here, the second base hit of the ball game, both of them to the opposite field.
Not wind aided. The wind, for the most part, has died down. Reynolds scores in front of him. He had walked to get on. And then Washburn had struck out Cobb and McDonald. But Moore blasting the home run to make it 2-1 Cardinal. And now Jimmy Natai, who grounded out to Cade McGee over at third base in his first at-bat. Well, Mascot better look out on that pitch.
That took a fastball nowhere close there. Bounce that off the screen back there.
3-1. No activity in the Red Raider bullpen out in right field. That's off the plate, ball 4. Second walk of the inning. There are 2 outs. Washburn has gone 4 1/3 innings a couple of times this season against Texas Southern and Baylor. Check swing called strike against Luke Lavin. That home run a moment ago by Malcolm Moore, only the 21st home run of the season for Stanford. That ball bounced off the mound right through the middle. A single for Lavin. Natai will stop at second base. And another 2-out hit here in the 3rd inning.
Even if the Tech had been playing him to pull, and Lopez was back there behind second base, I think that ball was going to clear him because that thing shot off the mound and out into center field.
Sapien struck out back in the 2nd inning. He was the first strikeout victim of Washburn. But after striking out 2 here in the 3rd, Washburn has given up a home run, a walk, and a single. Stanford averaging less than 5 runs a ball game over the course of the season. The ball may get into the seats on the right field side. It does. Stripling gave chase, but ran out of room. Three hits for the Cardinal. 2 of them have come in this 3rd inning. Now 3-2 to Sapien.
Base runners will be on the move here. Natai at second, Lavin at first. As the count goes full here with 2 outs.
There they go. Here's the pitch. Ground ball towards Pompey at second. He'll have to make the play at first. He nearly pulls Stripling off the bag, but the young guy hangs on. The inning is over. But the 2-run home run by Malcolm Moore has put Stanford in front of the Red Raiders. It is 2-1 as Texas Tech will bat in the bottom half of the 3rd. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. The Red Raiders Mr. Double. Damian Bravo will lead off. Gus, the Red Raiders are way above the average in 2 baggers so far this season, and they're hitting a lot of home runs too.
Yeah, those are big numbers in both categories. The Raiders needing some runs right here. They have had a bunch of traffic. Stanford's turned a couple of key double plays to limit it to just 1 run.
Yeah,
Could have been much worse.
Yeah, 6 base runners through the first 2 innings, but 2 double plays have certainly changed the outlook for Tim Tadlock's team.
Bases loaded, 1 out, a run in. They got a double play to end the 1st inning, and then 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Double play to pour some water on the flame.
Damian comes in leading the Big 12 and hitting with that .426 average in front of Jared Thomas of Texas and Brady Day at Kansas State, who are also over the 400 mark. The ground ball waking them up in the Stanford dugout. One and 2 to the Red Raiders center fielder. room in left center for Bravo. Steady diet of off-speed stuff from Ryan Speciak here in the third inning. Came in and faced a couple of batters in that second inning, but got Pompey to ground into a double play, and that got Stanford out of a big mess in that at-bat.
For Speciak so far, the fastball 89-90 here on the stadium radar gun. Seen him land several good breaking balls.
One and two pitch fouled off again by Bravo. Bravo at 426 on the batting average starting play tonight, but at home that average jumps up to 456. You've seen 8 pitches already in this at-bat.
With Max Huffling beginning to work in the Tech bullpen.
Now 3-2, a full count. Bravo singled to right center in his first at-bat. Breaking ball is off the plate, ball 4. And Bravo is on for the second time. It is the 4th walk of the game allowed by Stanford pitching.
Stanford has done a really good job of pitching around some jams and some traffic. We need to do it again here as the third straight leadoff man reaches. Excuse me, that's not right. Landon Stripling flew out in the first. Cade McGee reached via an error in his second inning. Unable to score him for the Red Raiders.
Bravo walked in his first at-bat. Was on base when the Red Raiders' Owen Washburn grounded into an inning-ending double play in the first. Gus, a big difference between these two teams. The Red Raiders have used 20 different pitchers this season. Stanford has used 12, and that's about all they've got.
Yeah, that really is a interesting difference. Stanford dealing with a couple of injuries, as most teams are. Fastball poured in at 89 miles an hour. Yeah, and this is a 2-game midweek here between conference series at this point in the season. Usually an opportunity to really stretch the benches and stretch the bullpens.
Zell lifts that one into left field. Back on it is Lavin, and he's not going to be able to make the play. Kevin Bazell has just homered to put the Red Raiders back in front. His third of the year, and Bravo will score in front of him 3-2, Texas Tech.
Well, these two very talented catchers both have some juice offensively, both very likely to have their names called this summer in July in the Major League Draft. And they're trading 2-run homers here in the last couple of half innings there. Bazell just his third home run. Of course, he missed a good chunk of the season due to illness.
Missed 9 games. Back with a good swing now. The Red Raiders are in front. Second hit of the night for the Red Raiders. Bravo had the other in the first inning, but it walked here in the third and scores in front of Bazell, who has 19 runs driven in now. Here's Gavin Cash. Was hit by a pitch in his first at-bat. Starts the night with 32 hits on the year. Led the most everybody in the Big 12 a year ago when he had 86, second most in the league. Cash did homer against UCF in the Red Raiders 3-game series. Swing and a miss there, strike three. Fastball up, and he went after it.
There's a good look at that heater at the top of the strike zone. Tough pitch to lay off when you're in protect mode. Cash foul tips it into the glove of Moore for the first out here in the third.
Now Drew Woodcox with one out, nobody on. Drew walked in his only at-bat tonight. Shift on for the Red Raider left fielder. 3 infielders between second and third. Ground ball right into that shift. Haskins on the move. Scooped that ball up and gets it across to Natai in time. Red Raiders Woodcox is retired.
The Red Raiders went to Palo Alto a year ago. This is a return of that trip. It was on this exact same weekend, the Monday after Easter, Monday night, Tuesday afternoon ball game. The two teams split the 2 games there on the farm last year.
Yeah, Red Raiders lost the opener there 6-4, came back to win the second game 11-2. Gavin Cash in those games had 3 hits, struck out a moment ago. Owen Washburn grounded into one of the 2 double plays Stanford has turned tonight in the first 2 innings. Swing and a miss there by the Red Raider right fielder.
Speciak throwing the changeup there, really backing off that pitch. Washburn looking for something firm there. Way out in front of that.
Doing it again at 2-2. Pokes it out of play foul on the left side. Prior to the first inning when he grounded into a double play, Washburn's last hit here at home had been the 3-run homer to end that ball game against Stephen F. Austin. Do it again at 2-2. Cobb, the Stanford second baseman, in shallow right field. That pitch up and in to Washburn, now 3-2. We have seen plenty of 3-2 counts in this ball game tonight. At least the 5th Red Raider to be at 3-2. Bravo in the first hit a 3-1 pitch for a single. Bazell walked on a 3-1 pitch, but a lot of pitching going on.
Feels like a midweek.
Texas Tech all time against Stanford 3-5. These 2 teams played early on in the 2020 season that was eventually delayed or ended because of COVID, but Red Raiders beat Stanford in the Round Rock Classic 7-2 that year.
Washburn in protect mode there, knows he swung at ball 4, but he did get a piece of it to stay alive.
Well, that time they got him. Heater on the corner from Speciak strikes out. Owen Washburn looking. He gets 2 on strikes here in the third, but the Red Raiders get the 2-run homer from Kevin Gazelle and lead 3-2 as we head to the fourth. Red Raiders take the lead in the bottom half of the third, and Gus, they will send a new pitcher to the mound here to start the fourth inning.
It is the big left-hander, Max Huffling. Big Huff making his 6th appearance, all of those in relief, but no record. He does have a save, 5.68 the ERA in 6 and a third innings. Worked 14 hits, struck out 8, has not walked anyone. He's hit a couple.
6'9", 255 or whatever. You think he could guard any of those big men in the NCAA tourney Final Four, the big Zach Edey or big guy at North Carolina State?
Boy, it really this year feels like it is running through the big men, isn't it? Sometimes it feels like it's a tournament of guards this year. It feels like this is running through the big fellas. Jack Washburn went 3 innings, allowed 3 hits, walked 3, struck out 3, a couple of runs, both of them earned. Big Max Huffling on here, last pitch in Waco against Baylor a couple of weekends ago. Threw a scoreless inning in the third, gave up a couple of hits.
Facing 7, 8, and 9 in that Stanford order here in the fourth inning. Becerra, Haskins, and Reynolds. Becerra reached on a walk in the second. One of those 3 that starter Jack Washburn allowed. Huffling inside on a couple of pitches. 2-1 the count to Becerra. Has a 4-game hit streak working. Junior out of Clovis, California. Huffling's 2-2 pitch, breaking ball, and caught Becerra looking. Strikes him out. Good start for Max Huffling. 4th strikeout by Red Raider pitching tonight, and Becerra just got frozen up on that one, Gus.
Yes, he did. Max Huffling filling up that strike zone.
Here's Haskins, the junior out of San Jose, California, hit that sinking line drive into right center field back in the second inning, but Damian Bravo ran it down, diving to make the catch and end that at-bat for the Cardinal.
A couple of off-speed pitches to start Haskins here.
That ball hit right past the diving McGee over by third base, into the corner in left field. And Haskins is going to be standing at second base with a double, second extra base hit of the game for the Cardinal. And Haskins, with a 1-out rip shot down the left field line for his 8th double of the year.
Jumped on a fastball, inner part of the plate. Really got the barrel out, smoked this pitch into the left field corner, and he doubled. He was all over that fastball after a couple of off-speed pitches earlier in the sequence.
40th double of the year for Stanford. Now a runner in scoring position with 1 out for Brady Reynolds. He walked and scored in the third on the 2-out home run by Malcolm Moore. But this Stanford team and some of their batting woes, their 40th double of the year still leaves them in the bottom three of teams in the Pac-12. That pitch got away from Bazell, and advancing to third is Haskins.
Fifth wild pitch of the year for Huffling in just 6+ innings. Really parries this fastball. Bazell unable to corral it and settle it down. Haskins, with a nice read, gets over to third base with less than 2 outs.
Represents the tying run here in the fourth inning. The Red Raiders by 1.
Tech keeping the infield back, Stripling, Pompey, and Lopez. Playing deep. Something hit sharply at McGee over there at third, might be played to the plate.
Cardinal are 0 for 1 with a runner in scoring position.
Huffling 85 to 87 on the stadium radar gun with the fastball tonight. He'll mix in a breaking ball and a change.
Three and one pitch, down low, ball 4. Well, Huffling struck out Becerra to start this inning, but gives up the double to Haskins. A wild pitch gets him to third. And now a walk to Reynolds puts Cardinal runners at the corners with 1 out.
Owen Cobb flat out to start this ball game.
A lot of youth on this Stanford team, but Cobb not one of them. Tonight's the 118th game of his career. He batted .324 a year ago.
Golden spot to hit right here.
And he lifts that one out into left center field. Going to come down to Drew Woodcocks. Here comes the runner. The throw is going to be cut off by McGee. A sacrifice fly by Cobb will tie the ball game. Reynolds at first stays there. Does not attempt to advance. Cobb drives in his 13th run of the year.
Yeah, Stripling does a nice job of cutting that ball off and keeping Reynolds over there at first. If that throw gets through, gets loose back there behind the plate, Reynolds is going to get down to second base and be in scoring position here with 2 outs.
And now McDonald, who was lined out to the wall and struck out in 2 at-bats.
Well, at this point in the inning, at least, this wild pitch, very costly. Wild pitch that got Haskins over to third base with 1 out.
They have the runner picked off here. Throw went to first initially, over to Tracer Lopez covering second. And Reynolds, who had been caught off the bag, is tagged out at second base. The only option he had, but Stripling makes the good throw to Tracer Lopez, and the inning is over. But as Gus mentioned, the double and a wild pitch and a sacrifice fly got a run across for Stanford to tie this ball game at 3 runs apiece as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus is a must-have for Big 12 fans with the baseball and softball seasons now in full swing. There are more than 450 matchups available, along with most of the games from both conference championships. If you're a Big 12 fan, you got to have it. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big12Now. Cade McGee to lead off for the Red Raiders here in the bottom of the 4th in a tie game. Red Raiders and the Cardinal tied at 3. McGee reached on an error back in the 2nd inning. Gus, it's time now for the quiz on where the Red Raiders and Cardinal have played one another over the years.
Well, I think I can put a dent in that. The first 3 games came in 1995. Wichita, Kansas.
That is correct.
And that
1995 team is kind of the stuff of legends around here. It was the first team to win a championship, first team to make it to the postseason. Tech won the winner's bracket game of that tournament and got swept in the final 2 ball games of that regional. So close to getting to Omaha on their very first trip to the postseason. I think that one, club won 50 games.
Didn't they beat Stanford in once?
Yeah, beat them in the winner's bracket game. And Stanford came all the way back. Kyle Peterson threw one of the clinching games in that series as that ball hit over to Jones Stadium tonight.
But foul.
Yeah, so Wichita, Kansas, and then of course, you just mentioned Round Rock.
Yep.
You mentioned Tex played these guys in 4 of the last 5 years. That was the first of those games. And then, of course, in Palo Alto and here. Is there another city, or is it just those 4?
It's just those 4. There's ball 4 to McGee. He is on for the second time.
Well, it is kind of neat how I'm sure Coach Tamar probably has a similar level of respect for Coach Esker, especially when you think about the fact that these 2 coaches have coached against each other at 2 different stops. It's a shame that can't continue it, but we did specifically address that with Coach Esker. He said, man, travel's going to be tough for them. They just haven't been through any of these ACC travel cycles yet, so you have to let that dust settle.
Thought it was an easy way to schedule a game, just on your way across country.
Yeah.
Stop off, fill up, play a game, and
that's the merit.
Go on.
The Red Raiders will be going west for conference games, I guess, for the first time ever. Maybe with the possible exception of Boulder, because they're not a baseball school, but 2 schools there in Utah, 2 in Arizona. That'll be part of the conference next year.
Tracer Lopez walked in the second inning. Got caught up in the ground ball double play off the bat of Pompey. Yeah, you could work something out. If you're playing at Arizona or Arizona State, stay over, meet Stanford out there somewhere, play a game or 2.
And as many MTEs as there are, multi-team events like Arlington, Houston, that the Red Raiders have played in so much. You mentioned Round Rock. Find out out of the question that these 2 teams could meet up at one of those events in the near future.
Swing and a miss by Lopez there.
John, there's a new MTA, I guess this year, the first year for it. You see this fastball at the top of the strike zone swung through there by Lopez, but Las Vegas posted one this year. The Sooners played in it, as did Ohio State, a couple others.
Lopez lifts that 2-2 pitch into shallow center field. Can't get to it is Haskins. Tracer Lopez bloops that single into center field, and the Red Raiders have 2 on and nobody out. Another threat here in the bottom of the 4th.
Boy, bloop is the operative word. It's a good changeup by Speciak. Lopez way out in front of it, gets it off the end, and just flips a little burger out there to the shallow part of the logo, the bottom of the logo. McGee having to hang close to first just in case Haskins makes the nice running catch. Everybody moves up 90 feet. The Red Raiders in action here with no outs and runners on first and second. It was TJ Pompey that was hitting in this exact same spot in the second inning. The first hitter that Speciak faced, and he got a 6-4-3 double play.
Yeah, McGee had reached on an error that time. Lopez had walked, but they're both back on again. And the Cardinal thinking bunt. Over at first, Natai playing in just a bit.
The right-hander working in the Stanford bullpen, and it's freshman Ben Reimers. He's working with some pace out there.
Pompey at UCF did not play in the opener of that series, but went 3 for 3 in game 2. He's ahead in the count at 2 balls and no strikes here. Speciak relieving Aiden Keenan, who started.
Speciak challenging
Pompey there. Fastball in at 87 miles an hour and fouled straight back.
Pompey's second best on this team with hits and runs batted in. 33 hits, 28 RBIs. He could add to it here with a runner in scoring position at second. Red Raiders are 0 for 3 so far with a runner in scoring position.
They're playing him a couple of steps to pull on the infield. Owen Cobb, the second baseman, is out there working on Cade McGee, trying to keep him close.
Red Raiders' 74 doubles are second most in college baseball. Pompey making Speciak work here. He does have a couple of strikeouts that's coming into the ball game. Got Gavin Cash and Owen Washburn in the third. Two and two pitch way off the mark. Now 3-2 to the Red Raiders second baseman. Three and two pitch hit pretty well to left field. Back on this one is Lavin, and he's not going to make a play on it either. A 3-2 pitch to T.J. Pompey is launched to left field. The second home run of the ball game for the Red Raiders, and for Pompey, the fourth of his career. The Red Raiders have broken the tie.
With T.J. jumping on a hanging breaking ball, smoking this thing way, way out of here. No doubt. He knew it. Lavin back to the fence. To watch that one go, our center field camera didn't even get that one bouncing in the street. He hit it so well, and the call goes to the bullpen. Stanford making a pitching change here.
All three batters to go to the plate here in the fourth inning have scored. Pompey's home run makes it 6-3 Texas Tech. Well, Pompey's home run sends Speciak to the showers, Gus, and now back to that Cardinal bullpen.
There's a good look at Ben Reimers, big freshman right-hander, making his 9th appearance of the year, 1-1 the record. No saves, 9.69 the ERA. You see the number, 13 innings, about 18 hits, walked 9, struck out 12.
That home run a moment ago by T.J. Pompey, his first since the finale of the Red Raiders series against Texas, Game 3 back on March the 10th. But a no-doubter from the Red Raider freshman. Fourth hit of the night for the Red Raiders, but 6 runs have crossed the plate now to the top of the order in Landon Stripling. He is 0 for 2 tonight. A fly out to center field, a ground out to second.
Ryan Speciak went 2 innings, allowed 3 hits, walked a couple, struck out a couple, allowed 5 runs, all of them earned. Most of those runs as the result of, well, all of those runs as a result of 2 home runs, 2 big blasts. It was Kevin Bazell and T.J. Pompey who did that damage.
All of these pitchers tonight for Stanford are freshmen.
Not to be outdone, the Red Raiders, John, in the finale of that UCF series, the one game that Tech won 8 1/3 of the 9 innings, came from freshmen.
Pretty impressive performance. Stripling pops this ball up into left field, but it's a long run for everybody. Backing out is the shortstop, Haskins, and he'll make the play.
Really nice play by Haskins to cover as much ground as he does there. Backpedal and go gobble that one up. Thought it was in the air long enough for Lavin to get involved. But Haskins made the play, excuse me.
Yeah, and Stripling now 0 for 3 in the ball game. Here's Damian Bravo. Been on base twice and scored each time. Singled and scored in the first on a bases loaded walk to Drew Woodcocks. And then in the third, walked in that inning, and then Bazell behind him hit the 2-run homer.
Well, John, it's turned out to be a pretty pleasant evening. For most of the day, it was pretty pleasant. And then for about 3 hours leading up to first pitch, it got a little rough.
It went south for sure.
A couple of lines of storms blew through and a lot of wind and a lot of crazy stuff. And now it's blue skies and winds calmed down. It's just really pleasant in here. Getting a couple of seasons in at least today, right? Maybe
Yeah.
not all 4 of them.
At least 2,
Yeah.
maybe 3.
Supposed to be in the 80s this weekend. I like the sound of that.
2-1 to Bravo is fouled off.
The Houston Cougars are going to come calling.
Cougars are 4-8 in Big 12 play. Red Raiders are 5-7. That's an important series for the home team here. Bravo grounding that ball over to Cobb, who gets that throw to first base in time. Damian Bravo retired for the first time tonight, and there are 2 out here in the Red Raiders' 4th inning. Now Kevin Bazell, who walked in the first, hit the 2-run homer in the third. Gave the Red Raiders a 3-2 lead at the time. Stanford would tie with a run in the 4th, but the Red Raiders have come back with 3 here in this at-bat. Gus, the fans in attendance did not like the strike call on that first pitch to Bazell at all. Ground ball hit hard, right at Haskins. Big arm throw across the infield. Bazell retired, but the damage done early. A walk to McGee, a single by Lopez, and a 3-run homer by T.J. Pompey. 6-3 Red Raiders. Top half of the 5th inning coming up here in Lubbock. This Stanford team a year ago, 44 wins, just 20 losses on their way to the College World Series, Gus, for the 3rd straight time. We've talked quite a lot about the history of this Cardinal team, but it was certainly on display a year ago.
Yeah, another fantastic ball club, another fantastic year. 4 straight super regionals, of course, the 3 straight College World Series appearances, 6 straight regionals. They have not missed a beat. Coach Esker.
Boy, ball hit hard right past Stripling. McDonald just ripped that one into the corner in right field and on his way to second base. A year ago, Stanford 145 doubles. They're a bit behind that total this year, but leading off here in the 5th inning. He just rips that pitch from Huffling.
Court McDonald not missing a beat, smokes this past Stripling. Looked like Stripling was going to get a glove on it.
Might have gone through his glove. As hard as that ball was hit.
We saw that in a big league game, one of the games over in Korea a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just a ball that ripped through the glove. You don't see that very often with big league leather. Speaking of the big leaguers, Josh Young with a 3-run homer earlier tonight in Tampa. He is off and running, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Such a good player. He was fantastic last week when they mic'd him up on ESPN. A grizzled veteran.
McDonald's doubled the second of the ball game for Stanford, and now Malcolm Moore, who is 2 for 2 with a single and a home run. 2-run shot back in the third. Red Raiders have not been able to retire him. They do. Oh, they have the shift on, and that ball by Huffling is thrown into center field. Lopez was there at second, but he had to try and reach around the runner there, McDonald. He could not get to the ball, and it flies out into center field, where Bravo retrieves it, but now Stanford with nobody out and a runner at third. That is all on Huffling.
McDonald's.
Is that going to be scored an error on the first baseman a moment ago?
Yes, it is. So an E3 gets him to second, and E1 gets him over there third with nobody out. The ball was obviously sharply hit, but it was right on Stripling.
So erase that talk of a double. But nevertheless, he's at third base with no one out, and a red-hot hitter in Malcolm Moore at the plate. 3-1 is the count. Moore had a couple of hits against Utah in Game 3 of that series. That ball bouncing away from Bazell, but it's ball 4. And Max Huffling off to a tough start here in the 5th inning. No activity in that Red Raider bullpen just yet. Here's first baseman Jimmy Natai. Came in tonight hitting .304 with a home run and 11 driven in. He has grounded out in the first and walked in the third. Sophomore out of Sydney, Australia. Well, that ball got away from Bazell. Long look over at third at McDonald because Gus, that ball was in no man's land with Bazell trying to decide, do I go after it or do I keep an eye on the runner? And Huffling had to get in the mix as well.
Yeah, probably a missed opportunity for Malcolm Moore. He runs like a catcher, so unable to get down there to second. That a little bit of a tough read for him because he see the ball blocked up and out in front of home, but Bazell's got to hold off with the runner on third. Trendon Parrish has been working in the Tech bullpen.
Tying run, Natai is at the plate here in the 5th inning. Tim Tadlock there to talk to his 6'9" senior transfer pitcher, Max Huffling. Came to the Red Raiders from Abilene Christian. Played high school baseball in Edmond, Oklahoma. Call has been made to the bullpen. Stanford base runners have headed to their dugouts. Trendon Parrish on his way from the bullpen. Here in the top of the 5th, 6-3, Texas Tech in front. Well, Trendon Parrish has come from the Red Raider bullpen out in right field after Max Huffling started the at-bat to Natai, but Tim Tadlock making a change, Gus.
Making his 11th appearance on the year is Trendon Parrish. That's good for second on the team. 2-1 the record. He does have a couple of saves. The ERA in at 3.86, 18 2/3 innings of work. You see the numbers right there. A little more than a strikeout an inning. Hill and Herrick runners on the corners and nobody out. Here in the top of the 5th inning, the double play balls that Stanford has turned is exactly what the Red Raiders are looking for right here. Stanford turned a couple of big ones in the first 2 innings to keep this just a 1-run ball game for the Red Raiders.
Trendon inherits a 1-0 count on Natai, who has grounded out and walked in 2 trips. He is the cleanup hitter for this Cardinal team. did have a 10-game hit streak to start this season. Had 6 hits against the Utes in their Pac-12 series last week. Ranks among the top 10 batters in the Pac-12 with his 9 doubles coming in tonight. Ground ball, going to get through. Lopez can't make the play, diving for it over there in the hole on the left side. And Natai delivers a single, scoring McDonald. Now 6-4 the lead for the Red Raiders.
Yellow C&I ground ball through the left side. Just beyond the dive of Lopez. Does the job, drives in a run here.
Now Luke Lavin, who has 1 hit in the ball game tonight, singled up the middle in the 3rd, grounded out to Pompey at second in the 2nd inning. Still nobody out in this 5th inning. Parrish almost threw that one away on the pickoff play. Four strikeouts tonight by Red Raider pitching, 5 walks. Lavin, another one of those Cardinal freshmen. The appeal. Ball 2. Devon Thomas, the umpire at 3rd, saying no strike. That is inside. Ball 3 from Parrish. Three and 1 pitch. Called strike 2. Lavin was ready to toss that bat aside and head towards first, but he will see one more pitch at least. His dad played college baseball. Three and 2 pitch, ground ball knocked down by Parrish. This is going to be a problem. Gus, we talked about that. If a pitcher deflects a ball, Pompey behind him might have been able to turn the double play. Parrish, though, knocked it down and had to run and get it because Pompey was out of position trying to get in position for that hard-hit ball off the bat of Lavin. But now the bases are loaded.
Yeah, that big chopped ground ball right there, John, was going to be tailor-made as they play catch out there. Hard to fight that urge. The pitcher to not try to play that ground ball like that.
Now 4 straight batters here in this inning have reached base. And now Sapien, who is 0 for 2. Sapien is struck out and grounded out to Pompey at second. Junior out of Atwater, California, hit .301 a year ago with 3 home runs. There's a strike from Parrish. 2-1. Sapien had a hit in every game in the Cardinal series against Utah. At least 1 hit. Ground ball here. Lopez at short. Flip to Pompey. Throw back to first. In time. for the double play. Stripling had to dig it out of it, but Lopez starts with the flip to Pompey at second. It's the Red Raiders' 16th double play of the year, but it's going to score a run.
Now that flip straight from the glove of Lopez, a heck of a play as he had to lunge to get that a little bit off balance. Didn't bother to transfer to his hand, but put the flip right on Pompey. TJ with that good strong arm.
And now Becerra with 2 out and a runner still on at third. That's Natai who singled to get on. 6-5 to score. This ball is going to drop in left center field. I think a long run for Woodcocks. Diving for the ball. He caught it. Second outstanding catch by a diving Red Raider outfielder. Bravo did it earlier. Washburn even went against the wall and left up in the first inning. But Becerra robbed of a hit by Drew Woodcocks there, diving to make the play. It's 6-5, Texas Tech. Man, how about that play by Drew Woodcocks to end the Stanford bat in the top of the 5th inning? Now, Gus, a lot of Big 12 players represented on the preseason Golden Spikes watch list. A couple of them are Red Raiders.
Yes, sir. Cash and Bazell. 2 guys on that preseason Golden Spikes list. A couple others. Boy, you look at mock drafts and top 100 rankings, and there's a bunch of names on that screen right there that are expected to go relatively high in the draft. Dalen Culpepper's name showing up as a late first rounder. J.J. Weatherholt came into the season as potentially the number 1 overall pick, middle infielder for West Virginia. Now, he's been injured and missed a bunch of times, so his name not showing up quite as high anymore, but boy, that's a good list of players there.
He was outstanding a year ago, clearly. I mean, as good a seasons as Bazell and Cash had. Every time you looked up, Weatherholt was out front.
Yeah, Weatherholt hitting 400 plus. Team USA guy last summer.
Gavin Cash here at the plate to lead off for the Red Raiders, still looking for his first hit tonight. Was hit by a pitch in the first, struck out in the third. '86 hits a year ago. 8 runs driven in. Those were the most of any Big 12 player. All Big 12 and All-American a year ago for the Red Raiders. DH, who played a lot of first base, of course. Big swing and a miss. They got him. Yes, it just looks too big. Looks like it's right there, and then it's not.
Yeah, and it's a similar pitch to what Gavin struck out on in the third inning. Fastball up and out of the zone. He's in protect mode. Just expands and gets himself out right there.
28th time he has struck out this season, twice tonight. That's more than anybody else on this Red Raider team. Now Drew Woodcocks, who just ended the Stanford inning with that great catch, almost hit that one out. He did hit it out, but in foul territory.
Now Woodcocks keeping this a 6-5 ball game. With the runner on third and 2 outs, a little humpback liner out there that he came in and dove and caught. Just a fantastic play to keep the Red Raiders on top here, at least for the moment.
Pops that one up in the infield. There may be room for Malcolm Moore. Oh, there isn't. He dropped the ball right up against the screen. Don't see that very often, Gus.
He was in good position. We talked about it. It's not a howling windy night here. Boy, he had himself in pretty good position there. A lot of times guys will overrun that. He's in good position. That thing just hits him in the mitt and drops, and Woodcock stays alive.
Oh, and he swings at an off-speed pitch that's out of the zone.
Woody really expanding there.
chasing that breaker well off the outside corner. Yeah, excuse me, that's where Moore breathes a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
So this guy picks him up there.
Yes, he does. Ben Reimers came in back in the fourth inning following T.J. Pompey's 3-run homer, and he's retired 5 straight Red Raider batters. Now Owen Washburn, who ended the Red Raider first when he grounded into a double play, he struck out looking in the third.
Reimer's doing a good job of mixing. Fastball, breaking ball change. Finish Woodcocks with a breaker. There, good change up, down, and out. Washburn taps foul.
Trying to strike out the side here in the Red Raider fifth. Owen Washburn puts a charge into that one deep into center field. McDonald is back, leaps up at the wall, and he can't get it. Owen Washburn hits the Red Raiders' third home run of the night. And Texas Tech gets back one of those runs Stanford scored in the top of this inning. '15th home run of Owen Washburn's career. Makes it 7-5 Red Raiders. That is a nice swing, Gus, and he got all of it.
Jumping on a fastball up in the zone after the changeup on the previous pitch. Squared it up. Banged it off the facing of the camera well out there in deep center field.
Tried to give the crew out there a souvenir.
That's right.
Cade McGee's got an on-base percentage approaching 500 for the year. He's been to the plate twice tonight, reached on an error and walked. The walk came in the fourth inning. He came around to score on T.J. Pompey's home run. Oh, and he got him looking. Reimer strikes out 3 in the inning, but gives up the home run by Owen Washburn. 5 hits tonight by the Red Raiders. 3 of them are home runs. 7-5, Texas Tech. Top of the 6th here at Danlaw Field at Rip Griffin Park in Lubbock. John Harris alongside former Red Raider Dr. Mike Gustafson. 2-run advantage for Tim Tadlock's team, Gus, and he has called for the bullpen.
It's Josh Sanders. He's making his team-leading 14th appearance. All of those in relief. You see the numbers there. 20 strikeouts in just 19 and a third. Just 3 free passes, although he has hit 3 walks. Although he has hit another 5. Josh last pitched on Thursday in Orlando, went 2 2/3 and gave up the final 2 runs in UCF's walk-off victory.
Yeah, hit a batter with the bases loaded to wrap that up. Last time we saw him here, he was taking a hard hit ball off his foot on the follow-through. But he'll see 8, 9, and 1 in the Stanford batting order. Haskins, Reynolds, and Cobb, who is the top of the order. Haskins has lined out into center field on a diving catch by Damian Bravo in right center and doubled down the left field line. Did that in the 4th inning. Scored on a sacrifice fly by Cobb. Way off the mark there as Sanders delivers the breaking ball. 0-2 the count. Ground ball right at McGee. And there's out number 1. Gus Sanders has a pretty nice warm-up song when he comes out. The song that David Esker didn't want to hear too many times tonight. The one they play here in the stadium when there is a pitching change by the opposition.
That's right. He was asking for the Gringo song when we talked earlier, wasn't he?
Yes,
He said his guys were asking about it. He couldn't remember it, but he's heard it since he coached his Berkeley team here and his Stanford ball club here a couple of years ago.
Well, he's heard it a couple of times tonight. They've gone through 3 pitchers.
He got a chuckle out of that. He knew there was a story there. That thing's been around since the mid to late 90s, I guess, so it's good to be known for something, right?
Yes. 0-2 pitch from Sanders, lifted out into right center field. It's another long run for Bravo. Can't get it this time. Washburn behind him there to make the play, get the ball back into the infield. And Reynolds has a 1-out double to right center field here in the 6th.
Yeah, Reynolds hooking a breaking ball here out into right center. And boy, the Tech outfield is taken away. A couple of hits, including one there by that man, Damian Bravo. This diving attempt just out of reach. The 1-out double here in the top of the 6th inning.
Officially the second double of the night for the Cardinal. Thought McDonald was going to be scored with a double back in the 5th inning, but that changed to an error at first. Now Cobb showing bunt, but does not offer. 1-0 the count. He has not been on base tonight, but a sacrifice fly in the 4th inning drove in a run. He's flied out to center and struck out in 2 other trips. Josh Sanders is the 4th Red Raider pitcher tonight, the senior out of Yukon, Oklahoma. .91 on that pitch. The 2 doubles tonight by Cardinal batters have come from their 8 and 9 hitters, Haskins and Reynolds. Malcolm Moore has a 2-run homer. Hit that out in the 3rd. Swing and a miss by Cobb, strike 2.
Cobb really expanding the strike zone there, chasing that sinking fastball down and out.
If you're the Red Raiders, you don't want to get to Malcolm Moore in this inning. He's a couple of batters away, but he's been on base 3 times. Swing and a miss by Cobb. That's strike 3, out number 2. But here's McDonald, who is a dangerous hitter as well. Comes in tonight as the Cardinals' leading batter for average. Starts this game at .333. He may be due, Gus, 0 for 3, but he did reach and score on an error in the 5th inning. That's the play initially thought to be a double, but ruled an error on the first baseman, Landon Stripling.
Yeah, he has smoked 2 balls here tonight. Nothing to show for it yet as he hit one that was going to be crashing off the bullpen wall out there in deep right field, but it was stolen by Owen Washburn, taking away a double.
That happened in the 1st inning. He ripped that ball down the right field line into the corner in the 5th. Now Sanders in front at 1 ball and 2 strikes. McDonald out of Arlington's Pantego Christian Academy. Swing and a miss. Chase that high fastball. Strikes out for the 2nd time as Sanders strikes out 2 in a row to end this 6th inning. We're on to the Red Raiders' half of this 6th inning. Texas Tech 7-5 over Stanford. Bottom of the sixth, coming up here at Danlaw Field at Rip Griffin Park. Gus, it's hard to tell what the temperature is there in that shot. We got some fans all bundled up, some not so much, but it is chilly, and there was some weather in the area and here at the stadium prior to get this game underway tonight, but the sun eventually came out, wind died down a bit. It was and still is relatively nice for springtime in West Texas. Lopez, Pompey, and Stripling are the Red Raider hitters due up here in this inning against Ben Reimers. Reimers came into the ball game in the fourth inning following a 3-run homer by the guy who's on deck, T.J. Pompey, and has retired 6 of the 7 Red Raider batters he has faced so far. The only one he did not get was Owen Washburn, who homered to center field off of it.
He set a really nice tone.
Including tonight, Lopez has started the last 14 games at shortstop for the Red Raiders. He and T.J. Pompey just swapped spots out there, Gus. Lopez going from second over to short. Pompey short to second. 3-1 pitch is high to Lopez, ball 4.
Now, John, really tough news out of Tampa tonight. I mentioned Josh Young hitting that 3-run homer early in the ball game. He was hit on the wrist and has a fractured right wrist. That is really heartbreaking when you think about it. As many random injuries as he's dealt with. Mercy. Hate that for Josh Young. Hate that for the Rangers.
Yeah. Didn't similar hand injury late last season or in the middle of the season?
Yeah, that was a glove hand, I think thumb, if I remember correctly. My goodness.
In the running, really, for the Rookie of the Year, and then that kind of took away the chance. This ball popped up by Pompey over near first base. That high in foul territory will make the play. That is a big out for the Cardinals. Here's the top of the order and Landon Stripling. Stripling is flied out to center, grounded out to second, and popped up to Trevor Haskins at short. Although he made that play in shallow left field, running to make the catch. Towering fly ball into right center field. Both Reynolds and McDonald there. It's McDonald who will make the play. Now there are 2 outs following the leadoff walk to Tracer Lopez.
Reimer setting a really nice tone here. Buzzing right along, mixing, throwing strikes.
Here's Damian Bravo. Grounded out to second in his last at-bat. Fooled on that pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Damian singled and would score in the first inning. Walked and scored in the third. That ground out came in the 4th inning. Cobb, the Cardinals second baseman, is over near the bag at second base behind it, as a shift of sorts is on for the Red Raiders center fielder. Haskins, the shortstop, playing over closer to third base than second. Big swing and a miss there by Bravo, strike 2. Bravo has struck out 17 times this season, but he's got 44 hits. One and 2 pitch off the plate for ball 2. Bravo has 12 multi-hit games this year. Can he keep this inning alive for the Red Raiders? Nub that one out towards Haskins. It's short. Going to have to throw on the run. Bit high to Natai, but he goes up and gets it. And Damian Bravo is retired. Red Raider Baseball single game tickets are on sale now. Purchase yours for this weekend series against new Big 12 member Houston by visiting TexasTech.com or calling 806-742-TECH. Red Raiders by 2 as we start the 7th inning. It's Malcolm Moore, Jimmy Natai, and Luke Lavin to face the Red Raiders' Josh Sanders. He is the 4th pitcher tonight for the Red Raiders. Moore has been to the plate 3 times tonight and has been on base each time. May have a 4th. That ball lands in fair territory down the left field line, bouncing around in the corner there. And Moore leads off his 7th inning with a double into the left field corner.
Malcolm Moore getting it done tonight. Comes in batting .207. Single, homer, walk, double. He's wearing it out. He's already scored a couple, driven in a couple. Tying run now to the plate as we play here in the top of the 7th.
Yeah, Moore's batting average not too shiny coming in, and David Esker even talking about his catcher maybe trying to do a little too much, but he has certainly answered the call tonight. He's a triple away from the cycle. Now Natai, who singled in his last at-bat. That came in the 5th inning. A ground out and a walk in 2 other trips. 8 hits tonight by Stanford. Couple of errors. 7 runs on 5 hits for the Red Raiders and 2 errors. 3 of the 5 hits tonight for Texas Tech have been home runs. Swing and a miss by Natai, strike 2. Got him looking. 91 on the fastball from Sanders. Gets Natai looking. That is the 7th strikeout tonight by Red Raider pitching. And the first out here at the top of the 7th.
And Natai must have been looking for spin there. He takes that fastball right down the chute.
Wonder if he looks at a ball spinning the other direction, coming from Paul Strictly. Here's Lavin. Lavin's got a 2-hit night working. Both of them are singles. Grounded out in the 2nd, single in the 3rd, singled again in the 5th. Hard hit ball near the pitcher at the time, Trendon Parrish, who reached out and knocked it down, but no one could make a play on it.
Sanders going to change there. Lavin way out in front of that pitch. Mostly fastball breaking ball, but he'll flick that change up there, especially to left-handed hitters. Comes right back with another change. Lavin fouls it back.
Down is 1-2. Came out of high school in Laguna Beach, considered one of the top 15 catchers in the nation. Playing out in left field with the veteran Malcolm Moore behind home plate. Doesn't chase at 90 from Sanders. Ball 3, Lavin looked as though he thought it might have been ball 4, but it is only ball 3. Full count now from Sanders.
There's a big grin on his face like, oops. Made you look.
That's inside from Sanders. That's definitely ball 4. Moore led off the inning with a double. Natai got struck out on a called strike 3. Now the walk to Lavin puts the go-ahead run at the plate for Stanford. And Jake Sapien, who was 0 for 3 tonight. Couple of ground outs and a strikeout. One of those ground balls in the 5th was turned into a double play by the Red Raiders. Sapien tonight playing in his 50th career game for the Cardinals. Swing and a miss there at 92 from Sanders. 1-2 the count, 1 out and 2 on for Stanford here in the top of the 7th inning.
They're playing him to pull on the infield. Pompey's working on Moore out there at second. Not much of a threat to run. Shading him a step or two around to right center in the outfield at medium depth.
Red Raiders have picked off a Cardinal runner tonight. Brady Reynolds back in the 4th inning. Big pitch here, 1-2. Sapien hangs in there. Cardinal tonight are 2 for 8. With runners in scoring position. Got one now. Swing and a miss. Sapien strikes out. That's 93 from Sanders. His high mark for the night.
Yeah, a really good spot for that sinking fastball down and away.
Sanders has struck out 4 of the 8 Cardinal batters that Red Raider pitchers have fanned tonight. Becerra walked in the 2nd inning tonight, struck out in the 4th, and hit a sinking line drive in the 5th inning that Drew Woodcox made a diving catch on to end the inning with runners on for the Cardinals. Pitch foul tipped off the bat of Becerra. Has a 4-game hitting streak that he has not extended. Oh, that pitch, a breaking ball, hit him right in the headgear.
That pitch nowhere close. Big breaker comes out of the top of his hand. Fortunately, Becerra able to cover himself up.
Oh no, that hit him more in the back than I thought it got him in the helmet.
I'm with
but
you.
it's the protector there on his arm. That's the reason for the thud. But it does load the bases. Trevor Haskins will be the Cardinal batter. He's got a double tonight in 3 trips. Red Raiders want to talk this situation over, Gus.
Yeah, no activity in the bullpen. This is Josh Sanders' spot right here.
Sanders has given up a couple of hits since coming into the ballgame. They have both been doubles.
First man Sanders faced was Trevor Haskins, the next hitter for the Cardinal, and he grounded to third. Haskins hit a couple of balls right on the button.
earlier in this ball game, double into the left field corner, and he hit the ball out into right center field that Damian Bravo ran down, made a nice dive and catch to end the second inning. So Trevor Haskins has been a tough customer tonight.
Yeah, it could be 3 for 3 instead of 1 for 3 for sure. Sanders comes right after him. Haskins, limited duty a year ago, hit just .083 with 1 home run, 4 runs driven in. Been more a part of this lineup this year. Now he's behind Sanders, 0-2. Bases are loaded. Malcolm Moore led off the inning with a double. He's over at third. Lavin walked, and Becerra was hit by a pitch. He's at first. Got him looking. 3 straight pitches. That up just a little bit, but gets rung up at the plate. Ball, strike 3. And Stanford leaves the bases loaded here in the top of the 7th. We are on to the stretch half of the 7th inning. Texas Tech leading by 2.
The booth, you talk about it already.
Bottom of the 7th coming up. Gus, if you're wondering, the Red Raiders have not lost to a non-conference opponent here at their home this season.
They are 6 defensive outs away, continuing that streak. Ben Reimers, young freshman, has been outstanding, entering now his 4th inning of work. He has allowed just 1 hit, and it was a solo home run by Washburn. He's been buzzing right along, setting a nice tempo.
Kevin Bazell leading off here. It's one a mile high into shallow left field, but Haskins is underneath that ball. You can figure out how high that is by the fact that Bazell was almost to second base when that ball came down. But there is 1 away now here in the 7th inning. Reimers has faced 12 Red Raider batters. Only 2 of them have reached base. That pitch almost put Gavin Cash on base, being hit by a pitch. Wow.
Cash was hit by a pitch in his first plate appearance tonight. This is a first pitch changeup, spiked at his feet. Gavin dances out of the way.
That's out of play. The only Red Raiders to reach against Reimers, Washburn, who hit the solo home run with 2 out in the 5th inning, and Tracer Lopez, who walked leading off the 6th. Everybody else retired. Swing and a miss there by Cash, again, who has struck out twice tonight.
Yeah, struck out twice on that pitch right there, John. The fastball about shoulder high. Stanford trying to go right back to that spot. And why not?
Yeah.
Especially ahead in the count. Cash got to see the ball down here.
Fouled off the 2-2 pitch. Cash has 33 career home runs. Now a 3-2 count.
Big miss with the breaker there. Pitch way up and out of the zone. They're playing him to pull in the infield, as Gavin is used to seeing.
Did not go after that breaker, ball 4. Second walk allowed by Reimers. The Red Raiders have a 1-out base runner here in the bottom of the 7th.
Will Burns going to pinch run for Gavin Cash.
Burns came on and pinch run in the top of the ninth in Orlando on Saturday and ended up scoring on a shallow fly ball, and that run proved to be the difference. He can go get it.
Burns out of Mission Viejo, California. Chose Texas Tech over Stanford. Both schools offered him the opportunity to play baseball and football. Burns came here to Lubbock, Texas.
Balk.
And a balk by Reimers.
Reimers didn't come set.
Gonna get Burns into scoring position. Woodcocks tonight walked with the bases loaded in the first inning. Scored Damian Bravo with the game's first run. He has grounded out to short and struck out in 2 trips after that.
Coach Esker came out and asked for an explanation from Kyle Parker, our second base umpire. Well, the count resets at no balls and no strikes.
Cold strike to Woodcocks.
Reimer struck Woodcocks out with that breaking ball in his previous at bat. Breaking ball away, through chased. Lands the first pitch breaker starting here. Ball misses just in. Reimer's pitching it. A lot of 89s on this stadium radar gun. It's a good pitch mix. Good breaking ball, good change. He used all 3 of them tonight effectively.
2 of the last 3 hits for Woodcocks have been for extra bases. A double and a home run against UCF. The senior left fielder now behind in the count at 1-2. Hard hit ground ball towards the shortstop. Burns will move over to third. Woodcocks is out at first. Now there are 2 away here in this 7th inning.
Haskins took a look at Burns because that ground ball was in front of him. You know that Burns is a pinch runner, runs well. Throw it over to first base and you're an out away. No need to play Burns there at third. What ball? By no means was that going to be a give me base runner, or excuse me, a give me out at third.
Red Raiders are 1 for 5 tonight with runners in scoring position. Owen Washburn has grounded into a double play in his first at-bat, struck out looking in the third, but hit a solo home run off Reimers to center field back in the 5th inning. Reimers working around the Red Raider right fielder. A 2-0 count.
They're playing him to pull in the infield. You can see the hat of Haskins, their shortstop, down the very bottom corner of your screen. Becerra playing a traditional third base position with the base runner at third. A lot of real estate over there on the left side of the infield. Keep it straight away in the outfield.
2-1 pitch, grounded right back to Reimers on the mound. Juggled the ball for a moment, but a lot of time to throw over to first base, and he gets Washburn to end the inning. We are on to the 8th here from Lubbock. Texas Tech leading Stanford 7-5. Jacob Rogers will be the 5th Red Raider pitcher used tonight, Gus, entering here in the top of the 8th inning, and the Red Raiders with the 2-run advantage.
Making his 10th appearance, 9 of those in relief, 1-1 the record, 6.75 the ERA, and 14 in the 3rd inning. You see the numbers there, 18 hits. A lot of free passes, 10 of those. He also hit a couple of men. Struck out
315. Opponents batting 316 off the sophomore right-hander, Jacob. Last pitched on Thursday in Orlando, went an inning and 2/3. Didn't allow a run. 3 base hits, a walk, strikeout. He's got an opportunity to save this ball game here as he inherits a 2-run lead here in the top of the 8th.
You'll see 9, 1, and 2 in the Cardinal batting order. Brady Reynolds here has walked a couple of times tonight and doubled into right center field. Been on base all 3 times. Has scored once. Got picked off in the 4th inning. Max Huffling caught him off first base through there, stripling down to second where Tracer Lopez applied the tag. Very quickly, Rogers out in front of Reynolds, 0-2.
'92, '93, '94 on these first 3 deliveries from Jacob Rogers.
Didn't miss by much on that 0-2 pitch. Foul tip there that Bazell does not hold on to. Reynolds fouls that one back. Freshman out of Bakersfield, California. Got a home run this season, hit that against Penn State back in February. Got him looking 92 on that pitch from Rogers. 10 strikeouts tonight by Red Raider pitching.
Painting the bottom of the strike zone at 92. Rogers going hard today.
Red Raider batters tonight have struck out 5 times, but 10 strikeouts by Stanford hitters tonight.
Right-hander working in the Stanford bullpen, a double barrel action in the Tech bullpen. Martin Rivera, Derek Bridges working for the Red Raiders.
Stanford came into this ball game with the fewest strikeouts of any team in the Pac-12. Ground ball, Lopez knocks it down. Going to be a tough play at first base. Not quite there quick enough to get Owen Cobb. Lopez did a great job to get to that ball and knock it down, but a very speedy Owen Cobb to first base, and he can't quite get the ball there in time.
Yeah, really nice play there by Lopez. Putting the throw on the turf there, not airmailing it into the parking lot. Cobb, just too much speed, beats that out. Good work all the way around.
1-out single, 9th hit of the night by Stanford. Now Court McDonald, who has struck out a couple of times tonight, lined out to the wall in right field and reached on a Red Raider error in the 5th. He'd score in that inning. Mentioned earlier that Stanford has played here in Texas this year. They played 3 games in Houston against Rice. McDonald was 5 for 13. All 5 of those hit singles and drove in 7 runs in that 3-game sweep of the Owls. The guy back in 2022 was the Taps Athlete of the Year in Texas. And hits that ball again into right field. No error this time. An extra base hit into the right field corner. Washburn runs it down. Stanford's going to try and score the runner from first base. They do. As coming all the way around is Cobb to score on that double by McDonald to right field. The Red Raider lead is now 1.
McDonald jumping on a breaking ball down, hooking it into the corner. No doubter. Owen Cobb legged out that infield single, has no problem scoring from first here. He runs well.
7-6 is the score. There is one out here in the top of the 8th, and Malcolm Moore. Moore is 3 for 3 tonight. The single, a double, and a home run. He walked and scored in the 5th. That home run in the 3rd was a 2-run shot.
Couple of off-speed pitches to start Moore. Pitches miss. Good spot to hit right here. 2-0 after a guy misses with a couple of soft ones.
Another off-speed pitch that Moore swings through, now 2-1.
Moore was thinking what I was thinking, like, here comes that heater.
Yeah.
Rogers spins the breaker in, and Moore way out in front of that pitch.
Preseason All-American has lived up to that billing tonight, for sure. I think that'll drift into foul territory, and it does. Souvenir. Two and two to Moore. Jacob Rogers become the first Texas Tech pitcher tonight to retire the Cardinal catcher. Got him. He is. Breaking ball at the knees for strike 3. Both strikeouts by Rogers here in the 8th inning have been on called third strikes. Now Jimmy Nathai will bat with the tying run at second base and 2 outs. Stanford 2 for 11 tonight with a runner in scoring position. Breaking ball strike from Rogers. Nathai singled back in the 5th inning to drive in a run. But he's behind in the count now, 0-2. Off speed or the express, Gus?
Well, when you think about that piece of hitting they've had this inning, was on a breaking ball that McDonald hooked into the corner for the RBI double. Fastball up and out of the zone, trying to get Nathai to chase. McDonald's dancing around out there at second base, trying to bait someone into a throw. 2 strikes and 2 outs. You don't want to do that.
Breaking ball, that's ripped into left field. That'll get down. That's going to tie the ball game. A 1-2 pitch ripped into left field. It'll be a double for Nathai. And McDonald scoring from second to tie the ball game at 7 runs apiece.
This breaking ball elevated and out over the plate. Not the spot they were trying to throw that pitch to, and now the goal ahead run out there at second base and 2 outs.
Second double of the inning, 3rd hit off Rogers since he came into the ball game to start this 8th. Now Luke Lavin. He's got a 2 for 3 night working with a pair of singles and a ground out, and he's also walked. Seven runs on 11 hits for Stanford. 7 runs on 5 hits for the Red Raiders. Swing and a miss there by Lapp. Right back where we were a moment ago in a 1-2 count. Nat High ripped a 1-2 pitch into the corner in left field. Scored McDonald to tie the game. Big swing and a miss by Lavin. That is strike 3. Rogers strikes out 3 in the inning, but he also gives up 3 hits and a couple of doubles and 2 runs. Red Raiders will bat in the bottom of the 8th in a tie ball game now. 7 runs apiece here at Danlaw Field at Rip Griffin Park in Lubbock. Bottom of the 8th inning coming up here from Lubbock in a 7-all tie. This was 3rd inning tonight. Malcolm Moore for the Cardinal with his 2-run homer, putting Stanford in front, but the Red Raiders come back as Kevin Bazell hits a 2-run dinger of his own in that 3rd inning. Red Raiders led 3-2 there. 4th inning now. And that fly ball, sacrifice fly, would score a run for Stanford. T.J. Pompey's 3-run blast came in the 4th inning. And we're back to live action now, Gus. This game has gone back and forth to this point. Cade McGee leading off for the Red Raiders. Lopez and Pompey are due up here in this 8th inning. Some defensive changes for Stanford in this 8th inning. We'll get to those in just a moment. But right now, the Red Raiders need a base runner or two in a tie game. Reimers is still on the mound for Stanford. Entered this game back in the 4th inning. He was the 3rd pitcher used by David Esker, and he has stayed in there. McGee tonight has reached base on an error and a walk. He has also struck out.
Ethan Hott, the new center fielder. McDonald moves from center over to left. Hott will bat in the number 5 spot in the batting order where Luke Lavin was batting, previous left fielder.
McGee sends a towering fly ball into shallow right field. That should be Reynolds. He will make the play. And there is one away here in the Texas Tech 8th.
What a tone Ben Reimers has set here tonight. Now working in his 5th inning. Just allowed 1 run. He has been fantastic, working with some pace. Really a big change from what they got in the first 3 innings out of their first 2 right-handers.
Tracer Lopez is the 17th batter he has faced. He has allowed only 3 to reach base. One of those was Owen Washburn, who homered in the 5th. He walked Lopez in the 6th, and he walked Gavin Cash in the 7th. But that is it. Red Raiders with 1 hit, the Washburn home run in the 5th. No hits in the 6th or 7th inning, or here in the 8th so far. Lopez sends one into left center field. That's Ethan Hott now, who is in center field. He'll make the play. That's out number 2. Now with 2 out, T.J. Pompey will bat. 1 for 3 tonight with that home run in the 4th inning. Grounded into a double play in the 2nd inning, fouled out in the 6th, but 3-run homer in the Red Raider 4th. "31 runs driven in this year. That'll equal Damian Bravo's 31 for the team lead." Raker for strike 2, and now the Red Raiders' second baseman behind in the count at 1-2. Doesn't go after the high fastball there. Big swing and a miss on a breaking ball, and Reimers retires the Red Raiders in order in the 8th inning. We're headed to the 9th. Cardinals 7, Red Raiders 7 here in Lubbock. Top of the 9th in a tie game here in Lubbock. Texas Tech and Stanford. 7 runs apiece. The Cardinal will send a pinch hitter here to the plate to start this 9th inning. Gabe Springer, a sophomore out of Boulder, Colorado. Has only 10 at-bats this season, 3 hits, but one of those hits a home run. He did that against USC. Batting in the spot for Jake Sapien, who was 0 for 4 tonight with a couple of strikeouts. Jacob Rogers remains on the mound for Tim Tadlock's Red Raiders. Springer had 1 at-bat in the Stanford Pac-12 series at Utah last week. He walked in Game 3. Cardinals scored a pair of runs in the 8th inning on a couple of doubles and a single to tie the game at 7 runs apiece. Red Raiders have not scored since the 5th. There's strike 3. Springer got caught looking. 13th strikeout of the night by Red Raider pitching. But they've also given up 11 hits. And we're tied with 1 out here in the top of the 9th inning.
Rogers pretty direct there with that 2-strike pitch. The fastball buzzed in there for the called 3rd strike.
Here's third baseman Timo Becerra for Stanford. Walked in the 2nd inning tonight, struck out in the 4th. Lined out in the 5th on a diving catch by Drew Woodcocks there, and was hit by a pitch in the 7th. Rogers has heated up that pitch at 92. 1-1 is the count. Timo has come through there. That ball dropped into center field for a base hit off Rogers. Single into center field. Potential winning run on at first base with 1 out. And now Trevor Haskins. Haskins is 1 for 4 tonight, but that 1 hit a double back in the 4th inning. Ground ball to Lopez. Lopez threw it away at second base, and this may score a run. Long run for Washburn to get the ball, and coming around third is Becerra on the throwing error by Lopez, and all the way to third on that play is Haskins. Ground ball to the Red Raiders shortstop. He wanted to start the double play, but threw wide to Pompey at second base. And Owen Washburn had to come from his spot in right field to run down the ball, and that gave time for Becerra to come all the way around from first base to score.
Yeah, just a disastrous play for the Red Raiders. What appears to be a double play ball. Get out of the inning with the score tied. Ends up being essentially a one-out triple here. That ground ball. A little bit of a hitch as Lopez played it. Might have thrown him off rhythm, but boy, that throw nowhere close there at second. He's kicking himself out there at shortstop. Somebody's going to have to make a play for the Red Raiders just to keep this a one-run ball game. Third error of the night for the Red Raiders, and now Brady Reynolds will bat with a runner at third base, and Tim Tadlock out of the Red Raider dugout. He'll make a pitching change here in the top of the ninth inning. Rogers struck out Springer, who was pinch hitting to start the inning, gave up the single to Becerra. But the throwing error by Lopez on the ground ball by Haskins scores a run and sends Rogers to the dugout. Red Raiders have a new pitcher coming in. Stanford has taken the lead here in the top of the ninth over the Red Raiders, and Gus with a runner at third and a run in. Tim Tatlock making a pitching change. Derek Bridges making his ninth appearance, all of those in relief. You see the numbers there. Bridges on to face this left-handed hitter, Brady Reynolds. The runner on third and one out, infield in. A lot of conversation over there. Now we're going to get a pinch hitter, Charlie Song. Well, after the Red Raiders make a pitching change, David Esker making a change at the plate. Charlie Song is a junior out of Thousand Oaks, California. Batting with a runner at third. The first pitch from Bridges is ripped into center field for a single. That'll score a run. 2 runs across for Stanford here in the top of the ninth inning, as Song delivers a pinch hit RBI single. One pitch from Bridges, and the Red Raiders trail by 2 runs, and Saburn Campbell will come on to run for Song, who just got that hit. Now back to the top of the batting order. 2 runs for Stanford in the 8th, and 2 more here in the 9th, and they have a 2-run advantage. Cobb singled and scored in that 2-run 8th inning.
Push, DJ.
Cobb tonight starting his 81st consecutive game for Stanford. We'll take a strike from Bridges, the senior out of Duncan, Oklahoma. Campbell was moving a bit at first. Bridges throwing over. Campbell is 0 for 1 on stolen base attempts this season. Nothing in 2 now to Cobb. Red Raiders last scored on Owen Washburn's solo home run in the 5th inning. Since then, Stanford has scored 4 times. Bridges will go over again. If you're looking ahead to the Red Raider half of this 9th inning, they'll have the top of the order due up: Stripling, Bravo, and Bazell. Stanford with only 1 out here and 2 runs in the top of the 9th. Long wait for Cobb for the next pitch, Gus. A lot of activity at first base.
They're just trying to keep him close, keep that double play in order.
Runner goes. Pitch is fouled out of play. Campbell not going. Pitch is fouled over near the Cardinal dugout. Derek Bridges is the 6th Red Raider pitcher used tonight. Runner not going. Red Raiders pitch out there at 0-2. Great speed by Cobb, who is at the plate. Runner goes. Red Raiders, have they picked off another? Oh, the Red Raiders threw it away. They had Campbell hung up between first and second, threw the ball away at second base, but Woodcock's in to get the ball to McGee, and Campbell is out at third. That'll go 1-3-7-5.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, I'm not sure what happens here, John, because maybe Lopez was screened on that throw. Either that or maybe it ticked off of the helmet of Campbell. Regardless, Campbell really had no business trying third base there. Woodcock's threw him out by a mile.
Here's that throw, a nice throw by Woodcocks, and Campbell, who hesitated for a moment at second base. Really, look, he doesn't even get close to the bag. Now 2 outs, though, but Cobb is still a problem at the plate at 2-2. That's foul.
I assume that would go as a stolen base of second and then 7-5, if we're being technical. Regardless, there's 2 outs.
He credited with an error on the throw by Stripling to second base.
You are correct.
Swinging a foul tip, it'll go as a strikeout for Derek Bridges to end the inning as Cobb goes down. But 2 more runs for Stanford. The Red Raiders need a pair to keep this game going. 9-7 Cardinal, bottom of the 9th, coming up. Back here at Danlaw Field at Rip Griffin Park in Lubbock, John Harris along with Dr. Mike Gustafson. New pitcher here in the 9th inning after Ben Reimers had made it tough on the Red Raiders. See what Cassius Thomas can do.
Making his 12th appearance, that ties him for the team lead. All of those in relief. No record, no saves, although this would be a save opportunity. 6.59 the ERA in 13 2/3 innings. He's allowed 15 hits, 10 walks, and 5 hit by pitches, so a bunch of free passes. Red Raiders will be looking for a base runner here. Opposing batters hitting .278. Cassius Thomas.
Initially, in that top half of the 9th inning, an error had been charge to Landon Stripling on that throw down to second. I think in further review, they have given the stolen base to Campbell, taken the error off the board. But still, the bottom line is the Red Raiders trail by 2 here in the bottom of the 9th at home to Stanford. Landon Stripling leading off. That is a ground ball to second. Cobb making the play, and there's one out here in the Red Raider 9th inning. An 0 for 5 night for Stripling. And now Damian Bravo, who singled and scored in the first inning, walked and scored in the third, but has grounded out twice since then. So 1 for 3 night for the Big 12's top hitter.
That fastball in at 93 on the stadium radar gun.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
That's right.
Thomas delivers that pitch, fouled off by Bravo at 93 again. Now the Red Raiders center fielder behind it, 0-2 in the count.
Campbell, the pinch runner, stays in the ballgame, the right field. There's a right-hander working in the Stanford bullpen.
That ball hit towards Campbell's way. Damian Bravo has singled into right field with one out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. His second hit of the night. Now the tying run, Kevin Bazell, comes to the plate.
Bravo just poking that line drive out to right field. That's just what the Red Raiders were looking for as it gets a tying run to the plate.
Kevin Bazell 1 for 3 tonight. That one hit, though, a home run in the 3rd inning.
Fastball in at 94.
That pitch up from Thomas. 2 balls and no strikes to the Red Raiders catcher.
They're playing Bazell to pull on the infield. Natai is holding Bravo there at first. This run doesn't mean a whole lot, but they'd like to keep the double play in order.
It's popped up. It'll drift into the seats.
Very, very deep and straight away in the outfield.
That home run in the 3rd, a 2-run shot that scored Bravo, who had walked ahead of him. The 13th in the career of Bazell, the sophomore out of Rockwall. Oh, that ball's hit hard into the gap in left center field. This ballpark will not hold it. Kevin Bazell has his 2nd home run of the night. He took that fastball from Thomas at 92 miles an hour and sent it over the wall in left center field to tie the ball game.
Yeah, the barrel flicked through the baseball there, John. He jumped all over that heater. Smoked it off the light. Out there in left field, deep left center. A really good piece of hitting there. You see that ball clang off the pole and tie this ball game here. With nobody out, we're going to get a pinch hitter. It's Austin Green, who's going to be pinch hitting technically for Will Burns, who came on to pinch run for Cash.
Tie game at 9-all. Red Raiders have 7 hits tonight. 4 of them are home runs. And now Austin Green to pinch hit in the spot that Gavin Cash had occupied. Cash struck out a couple of times tonight, was hit by a pitch and walked. Burns came in to run for him in the 7th, got to 3rd, but the Red Raiders, with only 1 out, couldn't get him across the plate. And now Green, who played in the opener of the Red Raiders 3-game series at UCF last week, went 0 for 5 in that ball game and did not play in games 2 or 3. But he's got home run power.
Green's pretty good against velocity. Thomas throws hard. This is a pretty good matchup here. Fun to watch.
Austin's got 15 career home runs. Fouled that pitch back, now 2-2.
A lot of 93s and 94s on the stadium radar gun from Thomas. He's got a good arm.
Austin's hit 3 home runs this season against Texas and BYU and also Oregon. Got turned on that one. A bit too much, or this ball game might be over.
Yeah, Green way out in front of a breaking ball there. There's some activity in the Tech bullpen now.
2-2 pitch, rocketed down the right field line, but just foul. Hit so hard that Nadi, who was playing over near the line, couldn't get to it, but it was in foul territory.
And Nadi right on the line. Here it's a doubles defense. We saw this alignment from BYU. Nadi can almost put his foot on the first baseline, playing very deep over there at first.
Austin Green proving to be a tough out.
Drew Woodcox waits on deck.
Woodcox tonight 0 for 3. Did walk with the bases loaded in the first inning to drive in a run. So, inside to Green, that's on the inside corner for tall strike 3, and Austin does not like the call at all. Thought that was off the plate, but he gets rung up for out number 2 here in the bottom of the 9th. He did not think that was a strike at all, but he is out, and now Drew Woodcox is the Red Raiders' last chance to keep this ball game from going to extra innings.
Activity in both bullpens.
Cassius Thomas is the 4th pitcher for Stanford. Retired Landon Stripling to start this inning, but then a single by Bravo and a home run by Bazell tied the game. Austin Green struck out, now 3-0 to Drew Woodcox. Owen Washburn is on deck should Woodcox reach. Ground ball, bouncer up the middle. The shift is on, and right there, Cobb. The inning is over, and we are headed to the 10th inning here in Lubbock. A 2-run homer by Kevin Bazell ties this ball game. It's 9-9, Red Raiders and Cardinals. Up a 9-9 tie here between Texas Tech and Stanford. And Gus, another pitcher for the Red Raiders.
It is Parker Hutera making his 10th appearance, 2-0 the record. He does have a save. And there are the good-looking numbers for the big right-hander from Birdville High School. Coming into another high-leverage spot here. This ball game is tied, and we play in the top of the 10th inning. Been a fun one here tonight.
These two teams are going to do it again tomorrow at noon. You got to think that extra innings and a lot of pitchers are not what Stanford wants to run through.
Well, Coach Esker talked about that today, like these 2-game midweeks. Our bullpen extenders and opportunity to get a lot of guys in. Makes the evening of Ben Reimers really special when you think about him going 5 innings.
He was tough against the Red Raiders. This is McDonald leading off, and he's going to do it with a double. Into the corner in right field. He's headed towards second. Throw coming back in. It is the second double of the night for McDonald. And here in the top of the 10th inning, Stanford has the potential game-winning run at second base with nobody out. And McDonald back in the 5th inning ripped that ball past Landon Stripling at first base. Scored as an error on the Red Raider first baseman. If not for that, McDonald would have 3 doubles tonight. Gus, he has hit the ball well.
And he hit that missile in the first inning that Washburn ran back and made the big lunging catch, crashing into the bullpen wall out in deep right field. And he's really hit 4 balls well enough to be doubles. I mean, it has been rocket after rocket off the bat of Court McDonald.
In between all of that, a couple of strikeouts, but he scored in the 8th inning, and if he scores here in the 10th, Stanford will be in front. Here's Malcolm Moore. Moore's had a pretty good night, too. Singled in the 1st, homered in the 3rd, walked and scored in the 5th, doubled in the 7th. He got caught looking on a called 3rd strike in the 8th inning. And he's a triple away from the cycle.
There's a look at this spot, these next 3 hitters in the Cardinal batting order that Parker Gutierrez is going to deal with. These guys have put together a heck of a night.
Moore does not have a triple this season. Big swing and a miss there. Gutierrez struck him out. That is the 15th strikeout tonight by Red Raider pitching. Gus surprised that they didn't try to bunt McDonald over to third with nobody out after that leadoff double.
My guess, John, is that Moore went up there, especially with the power he's got.
Yeah.
They went up there thinking, find a pitcher you could pull to get to the right side to get that guy over. Obviously didn't get the job done.
This is Jimmy Nathai. Singled in the 5th, doubled in the 8th to score McDonald. That was 7th run of the game. Boy, off-speed pitch from Gutierrez there, fooling Nathai on that swing. Leadoff double by McDonald here in the top of the 10th, but Moore has struck out. Now Nathai at 1-1. Called strike 2. 92 on that pitch from the Red Raider freshman Parker Gutierrez. Runner goes, pitch on the way, ground ball to Lopez. He's got it at short. Throw is in time to get Nathai. But the potential winning run is now at third base.
McDonald was on the move there. He was trying to steal third base. That ball obviously put in play. Handled nicely there by Lopez. There you can see McDonald getting a jump. If that ball's not played cleanly, McDonald scoring there.
He was almost to third base by the time Lopez got the ball.
And this is Ethan Hott's first at bat of the night.
Hott has come into the ball game to play in the outfield for Stanford.
Hott's a 302 batter.
Did not play a year ago. Had a couple of hits in that series against Utah when he went 2 for 4 with a pair of singles in Game 3. That Stanford won. Check, swing, strike 2. And now Stanford a pitch away from stranding a leadoff double now at third base. Low from Utera, ball two.
Utera using a lot of breaking balls. Good hard breaker that he throws. It's really important that Bazell be clean back there behind the plate. Block it up if he bounces that bender.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Off the plate, ball three. Hot does not chase, a sophomore out of Paradise Valley, Arizona. Not a regular in the lineup, but does have a hit in 5 of the last 6 games he's played in. Three and 2 pitch is off the plate, ball 4. So Hot draws a walk. Now with 2 outs, Stanford with runners at first and third.
Stanford may start a base runner. Start hot somewhere in this sequence, especially with a freshman on the mound. This is second baseman. These guys are going to have to be together, and that's exactly what Bazell's doing. He's not even talking to you, Terry. He's talking to his middle infielders to make sure everyone is on the same page here. You're 1 out away from this. You don't want to miscommunicate the double steal and throw one into center field. The only run that matters is standing over there at third base.
This is Gabe Springer, who came into the ball game in the 9th inning, struck out looking in that 9th. Takes a breaking ball from Utera for a strike. Springer out of Boulder, Colorado, a high school All-American there. Utera, 6'4", 195-pound freshman out of North Richland Hills and Birdville High School. Trying to get the Red Raiders to the bottom of the 10th in a tie game. One and 2 to Springer with 2 outs. Runner goes from first, and that's called strike 3. Springer called out on strikes in 2 at-bats in this ball game. And Stanford leaves the potential game-winning run at third base as McDonald led off with the double in the 10th inning. Red Raiders will bat in the bottom of the 10th, tied at 9 runs apiece. Well, bottom of the 10th coming up. There's the numbers for tonight. 9 runs, 14 hits, 2 errors for Stanford. 9, 7, and 3 for the Red Raiders. And Owen Washburn to lead off here in the bottom of the 10th against Cassius Thomas. 4th pitcher of the night used by Stanford. Came into the ball game in the 9th inning and allowed a 2-run homer by Kevin Bazell to tie the ball game. Owen Washburn has hit a home run tonight, too, a solo shot back in the 5th inning. That was the Red Raiders' last run until Bazell's home run in the 9th. Shift on for Washburn. 3 infielders between first and second base. Washburn 1 for 4. That home run is only hit tonight. Grounded into a double play in the first. Struck out in the 3rd. and hit a comebacker to the mound in the 7th. Two and two pitch foul tip that gets a piece of Malcolm Moore behind the plate.
Hurts.
Feeling that one.
Yep, trainer out to check on him.
Home plate umpire A.J. Wendell immediately walking with the baseball out to the mound to give Moore time to shake off the effects of that foul ball.
Talk all you want about wearing some protective gear down there. That still hurts.
Two and two to the Red Raider right fielder Owen Washburn. Now 3-2. Owen's brother Jack started this game for the Red Raiders back when it was still cloudy with a chance of rain. That was long ago.
Ended up being a pretty pleasant night, a little bit chilly, but nice evening for baseball. Lots of 92s, 93s, and 94s again here in the 10th inning from Cassius Thomas.
Owen Washburn proving to be a tough out. Three and two is the count. This is the 9th pitch of the at-bat coming up to Washburn. And you'll see a 10th.
The first off-speed pitch of the sequence here. Owen doing a good job of fighting that pitch off and staying alive.
Swings it. What would have been ball 4? Off the plate, but he strikes out. Second time tonight for Washburn to strike out. The Red Raiders have one out here in the bottom of the 10th. Here's Cade McGee. Red Raider third baseman reached base his first 2 at-bats on an error and a walk. He has struck out and popped up into shallow right field in 2 trips since then. Big swing and a miss at a 93-mile-an-hour offering from Thomas.
Very, very deep in the outfield.
Do not want to give up a double. Now 1 and 2 to the Red Raider third baseman, who does lead the Big 12 in being hit by pitches.
A couple of those cutters in a row here to McGee. Got the swing and the miss on the pitch prior to that. Just misses there. 2 strike. Breaker.
2-2 pitch, up ball 3. Red Raiders need a base runner. 1 out here in the bottom of the 10th.
Campbell with 15 free passes and 13 2/3 innings coming in. Also 4 wild pitches, but he's been in the strike zone here through an inning plus.
He chases that cutter off the plate for strike 3. 2 strikeouts here in the bottom of the 10th inning. Washburn and McGee have gone down swinging. Now Tracer Lopez. It's the Red Raiders' last hope to end this ball game. Tracer has been to the plate 4 times tonight and been on base 3 times. walked twice, had a single in the fourth. Flied out to center field. The Red Raider 8th inning.
Heavy pull side shift on the infield, but they're way around the left in the outfield. Haskins just on the third base side there at second. Cobb out shallow right field, a couple of steps.
Not quite as deep for the Red Raider shortstop, but Lopez does have 7 career home runs.
A lot of room out in right center field. Campbell in his normal position there, medium depth in right field.
But the center fielder, Ethan Hott, is practically in left field.
He is way around the left. McDonald a couple steps toward the corner as well.
Now 3-1 to Tracer Lopez.
DJ Poppy waits on deck. He hit a 3-run homer in the 4th inning tonight.
That's off the plate, ball 4, and the Red Raiders do have a base runner as Tracer Lopez walks for the 3rd time tonight, and TJ Poppy will bat. Grounded into a double play in the 2nd. As Gus mentioned a moment ago, hit a 3-run homer in the 4th. He fouled out in the 6th and struck out in the 8th inning. But his 31 runs batted in now match Damian Bravo for the team lead. That pitch is inside from Thomas, ball 1.
Stanford and outfield now moving back into that traditional doubles defense. They're trying to prevent Lopez from scoring from first on a ball that's in the gap.
Lopez is the only Red Raider base stealer to be thrown out this year. So the Red Raiders are 32 of 33. Not a huge lead at first. Poppy fouling back the 2-0 pitch.
Moore throws very well. We talked about him coming into this season in mock drafts being a potential first-round pick. Very good behind the plate. Base stealers are 3 for 3 with Thomas on the mound.
Off speed, Poppy swings through that.
Thomas has spun some good cutters this inning, got a couple of swings and misses. Cade McGee landed one for a strike for Washburn, then he fouled off and gets a big second strike here.
Lopez not going, swing and a miss. Poppy struck out. Thomas strikes out, all 3 outs here in the bottom of the 10th inning, and the Red Raiders leave Tracer Lopez over at first base. We are on to the 11th inning, tied at 9 here at Danlaw Field at Rip Griffin Park in Lubbock. Well, still here at Danlaw Field at Rip Griffin Park in Lubbock, top of the 11th inning coming up. Gus, there was a time today I wasn't even sure that we were going to get to inning number 1 with the way the weather changed late in the day here in West Texas, but here we are, still going.
Yeah, we had that little long line of storms blow through here late afternoon. Got a little dicey.
Temperature dropped, the winds picked up, the rains came, and most of the strong stuff stayed away from Lubbock. There's a ground ball by Becerra to start this 11th inning. Through on the left side. His second hit of the night, and now Stanford with the potential game-winning run on at first base.
Yeah, just rolling a ground ball through the left side of the infield. Playing him to pull. McGee a step or 2 toward the line, unable to play that. Now they're going to cheat in there at third base. McGee looking for the bunt.
We wondered about that in the 10th inning after McDonald had led off with a double, but Moore, after that, struck out. Then Natai grounded out. Donald would make his way around to third base, but could not get him in. Here's a bunt right back to the mound. Tara to first for the out. But Becerra down to second base now. The Haskins does his job. Now Campbell will bat. Entered the game as a pinch runner back in the ninth inning. It was Psalm who had singled and stayed in the game in right field. Junior out of Bloomfield Hills, Michigan.
Hudson Loose, the big left-hander, begins to toss in the Tech bullpen.
Campbell's got 5 hits this season, went 0 for 4 in that series against Utah. Big swing and a miss there from Utero. You see action in the Red Raider bullpen there in right field. Already 7 pitchers used today by the Red Raiders. Campbell batting in the 9 spot in that Stanford batting order. Behind in the count now 1-2. Struck him out. 2 away now. As Campbell swings and misses, that's the 17th strikeout tonight by Red Raider pitching. And there are 2 away here in the top of the 11th, and it's the top of the order for the Cardinal.
Campbell swinging over a breaker there. 2 strikes. When you look over there in the on-deck circle, and it's Court McDonald. He has been fantastic tonight.
That's the one guy you don't want to see at the plate if you are a Red Raider fan. Cobb has struck out 3 times, does have a single back in the 8th inning. This is his 7th trip to the plate tonight. Cardinal come to Lubbock after having won in extra innings on Saturday against Utah, and obviously are playing extra innings again here tonight. That's up ball 3, and the Red Raiders are very much in danger of McDonald getting to the plate, Gus. Does Cobb have a green light here at 3-0?
I would think not.
Did not. A strike 2. Last time Stanford batted in the 11th inning, they scored 7 runs against Utah to win that game 13-6. They had 7 hits. They've got 1 here in this 11th inning and a runner at second base. Cobb hanging in there. Flied out to center to start this game, struck out in the 3rd. A sacrifice fly scored a run in the 4th. Struck out again in the 6th, singled and scored in the 8th inning, but struck out in the 9th. Batting again here in the 11th. Runner goes. Pitch is popped up in the infield. It's in foul territory, and Bazell can't make the catch. Off balance the entire way. Hutera was trying to tell him where the ball was. McGee had no chance to get there, Gus, but man, if you're a Red Raider, you hope this does not come back to get you.
Yeah, that pitch was set up. Cobb had chased the breaking pitch. The pitch before fouled it off. Hutera comes back with the fastball, parries it in on the hands, and this little jam shot pop-up, not in the air very long. Bazell kind of stumbled getting out of the break. Never really got settled under that pop-up.
Fouling it back again. Count stays at 3-2. Jack Washburn started this game for the Red Raiders, then Huffling, Parrish, Sanders, Rogers, Bridges, and now Parker Hutera. This one's popped up into shallow right field. Now coming back in a bit is T.J. Pompey to make the catch. Cardinal get a runner on in the 11th, but can't push him across. Red Raiders have a chance to win it in their 11th. It's 9-9. We're 9-9 now, bottom of the 11th inning. Cardinal got 2 runs in the 8th, 2 more in the 9th to get this ball game tied up. That is Jimmy Natai's double into the corner in left field, scoring McDonald. This is on to the 9th inning. A Red Raider throwing error by Tracer Lopez allows that run, Becerra, to come around and score and get this ball game. It will get Stanford in front at 9-7. But then in the Red Raider 9th inning, Kevin Bazell hit that one off the light pole out in left center field. The 2-run blast that tied it at 9 runs apiece. And here we are in the 11th, still tied. So the Red Raiders will send the top of the order, and Landon Stripling to the plate. Stripling tonight is 0 for 5 in the ball game, looking for a hit. There's your summary of what we have seen tonight. Damian Bravo to follow. He has got 2 hits tonight, but he's been on base 3 times and scored every time he's been on base. So if you're a Red Raider fan looking for an omen, wait and see what happens with Damian Bravo. But Stripling has flied out 3 times and grounded out to second base a couple of times. Can it get through? No. Long run there. And the play at first, not going to be in time. Pop could not get to that ball, couldn't get the handle on it, couldn't get it to first base in time. Landon Stripling is on base for the first time tonight.
Yeah, Cobb going a pretty good distance to his left. Looked like he had settled himself with the ground ball there in front of him. But once that thing got in under his feet, you can see him start to lose his balance. Stripling, not a burner, but able to beat that out. I assume that goes as a base hit here. Almost a fantastic play by Cobb.
Long way to get to that ball, and may have prevented a double by Stripling by just getting to the ball in the first place. Scored a hit, and now Damian Bravo, Big 12's top hitter, apparently will not be asked to bunt, Gus. Swinging there is behind 0-2 now. Face Thomas back in the 9th, single. Hit that ball into right field. Kevin Bazell followed with a 2-run homer to tie the game and send it into extra innings.
Gavin Cash started this ball game at DH. He was pinch run for in the 7th inning. There's the most likely candidate to play first base other than Stripling if you're thinking they might pinch run for Landon.
Ground ball. Slow roller cut off at third. Throw is across the diamond, and Bravo beat it out. Becerra couldn't get the ball there quickly enough. And now the Red Raiders have runners at first and second with nobody out. On an infield single there by Bravo, his 3rd hit of the night.
It's a heck of an effort by Becerra, doing all that he can do on that little jam shot ground ball over there. Almost 2 fantastic plays by Cardinal infield. In this half inning, neither of them get converted, and now runners on first and second, nobody out. Boy, you might think bunt here, but it feels like you got Bravo and Bazell, 2 of their best hitters, just not ideal bunt candidates if you're the Red Raiders, the key thing here is look at that Stanford outfield as they have shallowed way up because they have to be able to play Stripling at the plate on a base hit.
Kevin Bazell has 2 home runs tonight. He's driven in 4 runs for the Red Raiders. His home run in the 9th inning was off Thomas.
Pretty good speed at first base, not very good speed at second. I will say this, though. If Coach Thomas sends Stripling on a base hit to the outfield, you want those trail runners, especially Bravo, to be headed around to third base. So if they do make the play and throw him out at the plate, you still got a runner at third. You can't get caught up watching.
1-2 now to Bazell.
One thing you know, if Stripling is sent, the throw is going through, so the trail runners can get gone. You don't have to worry about a cutoff man. Outfield looks crazy shallow, doesn't it? And again, it's all about being able to play Stripling on a base hit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a routine depth fly ball over their head that ends this ball game, possibly.
2-2 pitch to Bazell. Chopper in the infield. Stripling had to get around the ball. The throw to first base is not going to be in time. 3 singles here to start this 11th inning. 2 of them don't leave the infield, and the Red Raiders have the bases loaded with nobody out. And who will be at the plate but Austin Green? Austin Green will bat with a chance to end this ball game.
The infield comes in, the outfield, as shallow as they were, they take another step in because, again, these guys now have to be able to throw Landon Stripling out at the plate from any fly ball they catch. So if they get too deep and catch a fly ball,
it won't matter.
Exactly. Now, again, Stripling doesn't run well.
Austin Green struck out looking against Thomas back in the 9th inning. This one is looped over the infield over Cobb's head. Stripling will score from third. Red Raiders win the ball game with 4 straight singles here in the bottom of the 11th inning. And they win it 10-9 as the single by Austin Green walks off this ball game. Stripling scores from third base. 10-9. Red Raiders get their 20th win of the year, Gus.
A lot of things go the Red Raiders' way in that top half of the inning. Got a little bit of good fortune on a big hopper, a big chopper. A couple balls don't get through the infield, bases loaded, nobody out. And this is what happens, John, when that infield comes in. We saw a World Series, a Major League World Series in on a little duck snort like that over a brought-in infield. That's exactly what happens there. It's a happy group of Red Raiders, and this was a heck of a ball game here tonight.
I'll say a Pac-12, Big 12 battle, and the Red Raiders win it on the walk-off single by Austin Green, the 4th consecutive single by Texas Tech hitters in the bottom of the 11th inning on a night where Kevin Bazell hits a couple of home runs, 4 RBIs. Owen Washburn hit one out, and T.J. Pompey a 3-run shot for the Red Raiders back in the 4th inning. Court McDonald, a big night for Stanford, but the Red Raiders do come out on top. So for Dr. Mike Gustafson, I'm John Harris saying so long from Danlaw Field here at Rip Griffin Park in Lubbock, where the Red Raiders win it 10-9 over Stanford. 11 hits, 4 errors for the Red Raiders, 9-14-2 for the Cardinal, who dropped to 11-14 on the year. The Red Raiders 20-9. All games airing on the ESPN networks or streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. We're doing it again tomorrow at noon, right here at Danlaw Field at Rip Griffin Park. This has been a presentation of ESPN. So long, everybody.